bow to lies. We stand for truth, faith, and family. This is Break the Machine! Whoever wore the patch, for every heart that still believes. We don't just talk about freedom, we live it! Break the machine, let the truth ignite. Raise your voice, it's time to fight the fight. Big Red One and Daywalker's light, shining faith and freedom through the night. This is Break the Machine, where patriots speak loud and truth never dies.
Good evening, America. Welcome back to another episode of Break the Machine podcast. Tonight, we have a fantastic guest for you all. Hopefully, you all have been following her on Instagram. She's on TikTok. She's absolutely everywhere. She has her own podcast. Hailing from the Pacific Northwest, we got a patriot from there who's going to get into some stuff that's been going on there. We're obviously going to probably get into the elections once again. We all have opinions on that, so we got to get it all out. So we're going to make sure we do that as well. So if you guys have not heard of K-Sock, she's absolutely incredible. All her links are in the description, so you guys will be able to link onto her link tree, find where she's at, her Instagram links are there as well. And I think you guys are going to absolutely appreciate her tonight. So without further ado, let's bring in K-Sock conservative, Kristin Sokoloff.
All right. How are we doing?
What's going on, Kristin?
Awesome.
Oh, not much. It's great to be on here with you guys and everyone tuning in. I'm excited.
Yeah, this is something that we've been wanting to talk about for a long time. We got friends of the show, they just haven't been able to come on to talk about Portland and Antifa and essentially how it's morphed into what it is right now. It's a shame because Portland, once a beautiful city, it still has elements that's beautiful. I have family out there, so I've been back and forth. So it's just sad to see where Portland is now compared to where it was like in the 1990s, early 2000s. So we appreciate you taking the time to come hang with us tonight. We know that you got a pretty heavy schedule with what you do, so taking the time on a Friday night, between having friends and families that you have to take care of and whatnot, we appreciate you.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. You think I still go hang out with friends on the weekends? I'm too old for that.
I'm
No, thank you.
we're both probably older than you though.
I'm 44. I am not ashamed of my age. So, yeah,
How old do
yeah,
you
you
think
got me?
Scott
We
and I are?
we
Oh my
we got
gosh.
you
You
We
got me?
gotcha.
Really? You guys look
Yes.
by a lot.
young. I thought I was
By a
older
lot.
than you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm older than Scott by like 5 days
Okay.
actually.
All right.
5 whole
We
days.
so yeah,
Oh
five
my
whole days.
gosh. That's
So
amazing.
we both will be 52 next month.
No way. Okay, you guys look great.
Mhm.
Keep doing what you're doing. Republicans are
Yep.
better looking. I shouldn't even say Republicans,
Yeah,
conservatives, right?
conservatives.
Trumppublicans, whatever we want to call it.
Oh, we're gonna
Mhm.
rip into them tonight too. Don't worry
Patriots.
about it.
Yeah, we need to.
We're gonna
That's
we're
the
gonna have some
thing.
fun on that.
It's like my husband works for the Portland Police Department,
Mm,
and, nobody is immune to my feedback and my ridicule. I do
mm.
have to be careful because he needs to, I want his pension.
Yeah,
So,
Sure.
we gotta keep that intact, but, oh my goodness, I mean, I call out the Portland police as well, like, you have to call out both sides, you can't just have an echo chamber.
yeah, absolutely. Well, we call balls and strikes here, right? Like, when there's something that we don't like that the administration has done or the party's not doing, trust me, Scott and I will get in on it.
Love it.
We have no problem ripping into milk toast Republicans and whatnot. So
Yes,
it, it's
amen.
it is an issue that we have to absolutely eradicate at some point.
Yep,
Scott, how are you
absolutely.
doing, man?
Yeah.
We missed you this week.
I know. Everything is much better with my sister, and yeah, I'm just so glad it's Friday. It's just been a. It just seems like it's just been like an ugly week overall. You know,
Yeah.
just there's so much crap. There's so much crap. Even though there was a couple of days this week that we had a lot of good things happen. Um, my God, just a stressful week, and I just wish some of this bullshit would just be done. We need to move past this November election and regroup and hopefully energize one another to make a big difference in the midterms next year.
100%. We need that.
Yeah.
100%. I'm sure you feel the same way, Kristen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know what? It's bad. I think living in Portland, it's like nothing really ruffles my feathers anymore. So I laugh at the absurdity, and some people call it smug, but for me, it's a mechanism to be able to stay sane. And so everything that happened this week, it's kind of like the political absurdity. That's like my shtick. And
Mhm.
there's plenty of it. We're gonna be okay as long as we all come together, and I think it was a blessing in a sense. It was a sneak peek at what
Yeah.
could happen if we don't align.
That's an excellent way to put it, by the way. Sneak peek. We've gotten, what do you call it? We got the tickets early. We're in the early show, went to the matinee, and now we get to see what can come. Okay. I will say this, and I had this discussion with my mom of all people because she called me up and she's like, again, we're New Yorkers, all right. So like, I grew up a portion of my life in New York City. Well, we've talked offline, and New York City still has a place in my heart. So like to
Mhm.
see it just like slowly crumbling, and then now it's gonna be like, you know, it's gonna be like faster than light. It's gonna
Right.
happen very fast now. So it was just very sad talking to her. I was like, look, mom, but you gotta just kind of take a step back and breathe, okay? Because like we are very conservative in our family. We were never
Mhm.
on that plantation. Being Hispanic, never been on that plantation, and you know, I said, Mom, this is the things that happen across the country. We're in blue places where we expect blue things to happen,
Right.
right? Now, that doesn't mean that as a party we don't have to get our shit together, because we really do have to get our shit together. It seems to be that every time we go into an odd year and it's not an even year of elections, we just all of a sudden just forget what it is that we did the previous year, and then we have
Right.
to continue to do that and not stop.
Exactly. You see a lot of Republicans putting their feet up on the desk right after Trump got into office. I was like, "Look, folks, do not kick up and relax. Don't let your guard down. It's work, work, work. You have to stay working towards the mission every second, every day." And unfortunately, a lot of people are lazy and they become removed from that. But I think people like us need to be that reminder that we can't just flee. We have to stay focused on the mission And that's as simple as that. I know you and I have talked about my husband was NYPD. He's a New Yorker. He's from Long Island. I met him when he was on duty. I was on vacation in New York City. I lived in Astoria, Queens. Worked in the Empire State Building, rode the N or the W every day on the way to and from work. There was just another attack on right where the N train is. So I have those pieces there too, where New York is in my heart. My dad's from the Bronx, and at this point, unfortunately, we needed this to land on the doorstep of these blue voters, and it has. And I've always said until it affects them, until it's on their doorstep, they're not going to change. And so this might be a blessing in a sense. But of course, I live in Portland, so I'm a little bit twisted.
Yeah. Scott, you got anything, brother?
Let's just say, I just want to ask you how you survive in Portland
You
because
know,
it's really from the national scope of it. Like I don't see much winds coming from the city at all.
never.
So I
I've
can't
actually
imagine what it's like to live there.
never lived in a state where my vote counted, right? For where I
Mhm.
actually won anything. I've lived in Washington State, Oregon, and New York.
Yeah.
So I've never experienced that. But it's made me tough as nails. And I
Sure.
don't get worked up over things. You just stay fighting because there can be wins at your county. You can, if you stay focused on your own backyard and not so much
Sure.
on what's happening at a federal level or even at a state level, you will experience wins. But you have to make sure that you know what's happening in your own backyard so you don't get bent over a barrel.
Oh yeah, we stress that a lot on this show. We're constantly trying to remind people that it's all about local. Listen, it's not that the Fed elections aren't important, or like you said, the state elections aren't important. But if you're not paying attention to your county, your
Hmm.
town, your village, in particular, when it comes to, we'll just take law enforcement, right? On the lower levels in most states, okay, at least from my experience being all over the country, all right, with the military, on the lower levels, all right, you can actually elect judges, right? Like, it's not like they're being
Right.
appointed and stuff. So in your town, you need to make sure you have the right judges that are going to actually interpret the law correctly, all right, and be constitutionalists. You have to make sure you elect the right district attorneys. You have to make sure that you elect the right sheriff.
Mm,
You can't usually do it in cities because they're usually beholden to a mayor who actually appoints them, but you have a chance to actually have a counter to that when you elect the right, sheriff and stuff like that.
right.
That's gonna stick to the Constitution and protect people's rights along with protecting and serving the public. So you're that's a very good point. Local is just so much more important. If you want to put up that
Mhm.
wall and the buffer
Hmm.
to everything else, you need to make sure that you take care of the locals.
Yeah, absolutely. And so many people don't. I'll tell you, I was a campaign manager for a Washington state senator. And again, I'm in Portland, so I'm right over the Columbia from Washington. That's where I grew up in Washington, so I have a lot of connections there. But a seasoned senator, I ran his most recent campaign, and what was frustrating was he went from being a senator, he wanted to be in city council to kind of end his career, and it's one of those on the ballot that doesn't show an R or a D next to it. And so a lot of people are lazy, as I've already said, and they didn't take the time to look up who was running. And so they just went with the person listed on top, right? And so or they didn't vote at all. And that's called an undervote. And so a lot of these ballots came back that were undervotes for a very important county role. And he
Mhm.
lost by 1,200 points there, or excuse me, 1,200 votes. But the whole point is that there's so many people that just aren't paying attention. One Google search would have told you who's conservative and who is a
Mhm.
Democrat. And the most frustrating thing was we did an audit and I watched all these conservative tickets come through, Trump, and they were all coming through and I could see it. That's a conservative ballot and it was an undervote for his.
I don't understand why that happens. Scott and I know Scott has an opinion. He's going to chime in right after this. We have talked about this with the splitting of the votes, right? Especially like when we have like a mass turnout, we vote for our president. We watched it last year. Okay, Trump won. He got the popular vote. He got everything. Okay, electoral college, popular vote. Almost every demographic to an extent voted for him, except for, of course, the commie, young liberal women,
Hmm.
black women, and stuff like that. But overwhelmingly, I would say Gen Z the conservative side of Gen Z came out. Gen X, which is me and Scott, we came out, okay, in full force. So he had a good group of different demographics that helped. But then when you
Yeah.
look at down the ballot, okay, in some of the states, Scott and I, because we had like a 6-hour show, okay, on election night, and we were just like looking, we kept going back and forth to different places. Like, how is this vote being split? Like, I don't get it. How do you vote for Trump, but then you don't vote like just right down the line, you
Yeah.
know, to help other people who are on the ballot, and then some governor gets elected, you know, who just barely wins, who's a Democrat, stuff like that. It made no sense to us.
Yeah.
So is
Yeah.
that something that you see a lot up there in Portland?
I didn't see, so because I was privy to the audit, which was awesome. I learned so much from being able to see how that happened, how that took place. That was in Clark County, Washington. But I did not see splitting of the vote with that audit. And I looked at thousands and thousands of ballots. I saw more undervotes,
Mm.
but
I
that
didn't
would
even know
make
about
me
the undervotes. You
crazy.
just taught me something tonight. So
All
like just
right,
explaining that
sweet.
Yeah,
to
I
me
didn't
just
know
taught
about
me something.
undervotes
I
either.
didn't know about undervotes either.
Yeah.
Like we're so used to seeing, again, we talked about the splitting of the vote. Didn't even know that there was a such thing as an undervote. Like, so again, you
Yes.
just taught us both something tonight.
Is that where they're
Yeah.
just not marking anything down at all?
Correct. They leave that race completely blank, and it's usually the ones that they're nonpartisan roles. So even like the
See,
sheriff you'll see undervotes in as well.
yeah,
Mm.
see here in Florida, I bet you that happens here because not the sheriffs are usually pretty transparent about what side they're on,
Mm.
but it's the
Yeah.
local judges that are very hard to pinpoint. You have to they don't have a you won't find them on Ballotpedia, you know, you won't find them on the local news like with an R, a D, or an I next to their name or anything.
Right. Nope.
You have to dig, and then, you know, you'll find some video of them from, like, 3 years ago where they were standing next to Nancy Pelosi or something like that. I'm like, "Aha, there
Yeah.
you
There it
go."
is.
You
It
There
know?
is
it is.
hard.
There it is.
Yeah. I've
So,
worked on a judge's platform before too, and there is a lot of rules and regulations for them when they're running. They cannot be associated with a party.
Yeah,
yeah.
well, because they're
Well,
supposed to be
somehow it's
nonpartisan, right?
Yeah, exactly.
well, you would think there'd be at least opinion, articles or, you know, just
Something.
pieces on them somewhere
It's
where they would
difficult.
say, "Yeah, they're liberal or they lean conservative,"
Well,
or "Here's their" because their voting record is public most of the time, right? You can I mean, not the
well,
voting record, but their judgment record,
their
you can go up and find that
Judgment.
out.
yes, their decisions
Yeah.
on things. So yes, so if they have a certain precedent, but again, going to what Kristen was saying, people aren't looking up, like that's public knowledge,
Mhm.
okay, but nobody looks for that. Like nobody, they're not
Yeah.
like us that will take the time,
Right. I
okay, to
like
actually
salivate when
vet
my ballot
somebody.
shows up. I'm like,
Yeah,
yes.
I just like, okay, I gotta see who's on this, so I
Yeah.
know who to vote for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a shame because in most states the ballots come out fairly early in that year, okay, and it's
Yeah.
just a matter of you putting in some time, you know, and to look into it. But to Scott's point, okay, to what he was saying, to add to that, yeah, their precedent is there, man. Their decisions are there. It's public, right? It's a
Mhm.
public decision when they make a decision on something in a court. All right, it's just people won't take the time to look
No,
at
they
it.
won't. No, they won't. And the other thing is you could go see what they're registered as too. You do have to go to the county and you have to request it. It's like $10 at least here to see if they're registered Republican or Democrat. But again, people if people can't even Google search something,
Like,
they're not
yeah.
gonna go that far.
Yeah,
People don't even
it's a
notice
shame.
when people drop out because so many states have these antiquated rules where
Yeah.
if you drop out like a month or 2 before the election, they won't remove your name,
Right.
Right. I've seen that
you
happen here
know?
locally.
I mean, it
Yeah.
happened to RFK Jr. when he dropped out of the presidential race. There were so many states that still had his name on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah, no,
maddening.
it's true. They wouldn't take him off the deliberately, by the way. You know,
Yeah, I think
it was
that a
meant
lot of the time
it
it's
was meant to
They
try
had,
to hurt.
yeah, in New York City, they just did that. They still had what's his name on the ballot?
Eric
Um,
Adams.
they still had
mm,
Adams on the ballot. He dropped out like
Well,
months ago.
so I don't know if and you could, you know, being that you have been on the campaigns and you've been helping people with campaigns, you'd be able to explain
yeah.
it better. In the state of New York, and I'm sure you know because you probably voted in New York, if someone is running uncontested, they can actually put themselves in another party. Okay, so for instance, Mom Dummy was, what do you call it, part of the Workers' Families Party along with the Democrat, stuff like that. So if someone's not running in that party, you can add yourself to that. Okay.
Mm.
Is that
And
why his name was on there twice?
yes, so it was,
Okay.
See, I figured there was an explanation to that.
I
Everyone
learned
was saying
something
it
new
was.
too, so thank you.
yes. Yeah. And the
Everybody
same
was
thing.
saying it was cheating, but it wasn't
Yeah, it's
necessarily.
not.
Yeah.
In the
Okay.
state of New York, if someone is not running, like you can add yourself, you can get nominated for more than one party in the state of New York. Let's just put it that way, right? So
Mm.
if they don't have a candidate and you go to that party, the Workers' Family, or I think Sliwa had two. He was the Republican nominee, and like he was in there too for something else.
Okay.
What do you call it? Cuomo was an independent. I think Adams was still as an independent. But yes, if someone's not running, if they don't have a candidate, and you go and you solicit them, essentially, they can add you
Wow.
as their candidate, and you be on two. That's why it looked like it's a cheat, but it's not. And
Yeah.
it's been like
Okay.
that. It's been like that for decades.
Wow. I
Hey,
did not
Blondie,
know
what's
that.
going on? Yeah, it's been like that for decades.
Mm.
The whole time, my whole voting life in New York, it has been like that.
Wow. Yeah, I
And
lived
that's
there. I actually never even went and got a New York driver's license because I was only there for a year, so I didn't ever vote in the state of New York. But that is very interesting.
yeah. So, and I don't know if any other states do that. I don't know if they do that in Oregon or what,
Not
but I know New
familiar
York
to
does
me.
that. Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
good
I
thing
know, right? That would be pretty
because it gets
muddy.
I
confusing
guarantee
when you're
you they
looking at it.
do.
It gets confusing. So right. So, but here's the thing: even if you say you voted for the Workers' Family for Mom Dummy, okay, what do you call it? He still gets that vote. So it doesn't matter.
Mm,
It doesn't
yeah.
really eat into. It doesn't really eat into his voting as the Democratic vote.
Very
It's
interesting.
he still gets
Just
that
him.
vote.
I
Yeah,
see. Okay. Huh.
just him.
You got two chances to get voted for.
Yeah, I had no idea. I'm thinking that might
Yeah,
be a New York thing. I could be wrong, but
it is definitely
that's
a New York thing.
whew, that's a
That's because
doozy.
you'll have socialists that are like, well, I'm only going to vote for like this if there's a socialist candidate. Well,
Yeah.
Right.
if his name falls under that
The Workers'
number or
Family.
another,
That's the party that he put as a hint. The
and that's
Workers'
and
Family,
that's what they
whatever,
vote
like
for.
that party, and that's
Yeah.
what they voted for. So he still gets that
Wow.
vote.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's
That's
There's
the
something.
people
legal
out there that
cheat.
won't. There's people out there that won't vote Democrat or Republican, but if the name's
Yeah,
under the other thing, they'll vote for him.
yeah, they'll vote for him. Yeah,
Yeah.
it,
It's called a wasted vote, but that's okay.
it is. It absolutely
That
is.
pisses me off too.
You
But
know,
That's a Mamdani.
yeah, it's just like, uh, again, I had plenty of candidates when I was voting in New York that were, the Conservative Party and the Republican Party, and as bad as I wanted to hit conservative, I knew that he needed it as a Republican, but because being in a blue state, all right, that
yeah.
like for instance, I voted for Pataki, who ended up being a disaster for the Republican Party in the state of New York. He didn't advance the party like he should have.
Mm,
Okay, he did nothing. He didn't help Giuliani. Giuliani was really on his own trying to advance the Republican Party.
mm.
And as you see, Bloomberg came in right after him and didn't even change anything. He came in as
Right.
a Republican. He left as an independent
Yeah.
mayor for life. Got elected a third time, changed the law, helped get the law changed to get elected a third time, then changed it back, all right, on his way out and stuff like that. Mayor for life is what we call them. But
Yeah.
that is Pataki, he didn't do anything for the Republican Party. And I
Mm.
was a young Republican in the state of New York during that time. All right.
Oh wow.
And I just saw how they were grifting with one another and stuff like that, and how grimy it really was.
Yeah.
And I was like, I come from a conservative family. I can't be part of this. This bullshit. This is bullshit. And the reality is Republicans in the state of New York and probably in California, probably in Oregon too, are really purple. Okay. They're not really like red. You get outliers like us who are conservative, but the party as a whole is really purple.
Yeah, I do see that. It's funny. I went to like a women's conservative movement luncheon the other day, and someone was like a psychic, like she's conservative voting, but I was like a psychic, and like just I was like, okay, yeah, this is like Portland conservative. So definitely, it was
I don't want to know
definitely
what that
odd.
is.
I know,
Yeah.
yeah, it was odd. I'm like, hey, as long as you're putting red on the ticket, then I'm happy. But yeah, that was definitely interesting.
Portland conservative.
Yeah, yeah. I
that's
walked
I can
away
only
enlightened.
Only believes in abortion up until the 8th month,
yeah,
Oh,
not the
goodness
ninth, not the
gracious.
not
not the
after
9th.
birth.
I'm
Okay,
conservative, but I don't want to go to
I'm
the 9th
conservative.
month. But
Not
I'll
the
Only
ninth.
only up to
That's
the 8th month.
inhumane.
You can't go into the ninth
Mhm.
month or even after
Oh
birth
my
like most of them
gosh.
like to do it. It's
So
just
sick.
absolutely insane.
That's
It's
a whole
insane.
other show. Oh my
All
gosh.
right.
So bad.
The the story of Antifa in Portland.
Eh,
What do you got for us, Kristen? Because that is a deep one. We
I
actually
know.
have friends of the show. Um, you actually reposted her post, Julie Turkle. Okay,
Yeah. Awesome.
she she hasn't been on the show. She wants to come on to tell her story because she has one story to tell about what Antifa has done to her. So
Yes.
it
Yeah, she
from a
has.
national standpoint, when we're looking at Portland, it's like, wow, these guys are incredibly, the black shirts of the Democratic Party are incredibly violent.
Right. Oh, they absolutely are. And so I'll rewind to 2020 because the reason I even got my start is because my husband as a Portland police officer, I was seeing him battle Antifa hats and bats. And when I say that, that's because Antifa was outfitted with police like
Hmm.
everything, right? All of the
Yeah,
hats, the bats, they had shields. I
their
mean, they had
kits.
everything,
Yeah,
right?
they had
Yeah.
kits.
They had full kits. So it was like an even playing field because the Portland police was told to stand down. It was a whole situation. So,
And this was
um,
during the summer of love.
yes, it was. So that and that was more Seattle, but Portland definitely. So we had the 124 consecutive days of rioting. And so that was, they say it takes it to land on your doorstep. It's not that I wasn't conservative before. I've always been very conservative and very outspoken, but for me to get activated and start putting my either, my money where my mouth is and also putting in my time volunteering on campaigns, it took it landing on my doorstep and that was my husband being impacted, and so that's why I started speaking out. And it's been this wild ride because I had this banking career where I was in leadership for so long. And that's why I had the alias of KSOC. So they actually called me that at the bank. So I just kind of took that over. But I had to kind of fight from behind enemy lines in the closet, so to speak, for a few years. But Antifa, it's wild. It's like even today, I just want to clarify something. What we were seeing, I think what we're still seeing, I don't go down there and seek it out personally. It's about a 1 block or a 2 block radius around the ICE building. Trump is incorrect when he says that it's the whole city's on fire. I just cringe when he says stuff like that
Right.
because that was in
That's
2020.
that's that's Trump being Trump.
I know, and
Yeah.
I'm a stickler with factual information, and so I love him, but that does bother me because it's not the truth, and then we look stupid, right? But
Yeah.
the thing is, it's 1 or 2 blocks. It doesn't make it right, but it's not the entire city, right? So we have this lawlessness. You know who it's impacting? Everybody that resides in that area, and there are residential buildings all over there, and they've been having to listen to this for 3, 4 months. It's not okay, but it is not at the level that people are describing.
Mm.
But does
Scott.
the city have a crime problem though?
Yeah, so I stopped there because I'm like, there's so many directions I can
And
go
it
in.
may not be on fire, but like is Portland, considered one of the more, lawless
Dangerous.
cities in terms of just like, murders, mugging, robbery, theft, public drug use, all that crap.
Yes and no. So if we pull
Mhm.
stats and we look at, different cities, it's one of the whitest cities out there.
It
So I will
is. It
say that
actually
that's
is.
something to factor in. So we have a lot of big mouths, but we
Wow.
don't have a lot of the crime that you would see like in Chicago or,
Okay.
other very big cities, New York,
Like
right?
gang violence and stuff like that. Not that there aren't gangs in Portland, but it's not like heavy like
Right.
Chicago is with gang
It's
violence
just
and stuff
Right.
like that.
Antifa.
Yeah, so we
Right.
do have an
It's
Antifa
Antifa. Yeah.
problem, and then what we do have is the homelessness. So I believe the last I
Mhm.
saw, we're ranked. I think we're number 1 now
Ask
as a
California.
Wow.
state for the
That's
most
crazy.
homeless. And if I may be
Wow.
mistaken, we might be behind California because that does sound crazy, but maybe not. I'm pretty sure we are number 1. We've
Probably per
surpassed.
capita, it's probably
Yeah,
like more
it's
homeless.
so that's the thing is we've created this haven for drug
Mhm.
addicts, for homeless. I mean, it's a known thing that other cities ship them to Portland because we do have that outreach and we dump so much money into those programs. A lot of them are failed programs, but we have a
Mhm.
major homeless drug issue, and that is going to lead to crime in itself, right? People are doing a lot of illegal things just to get their fix. I have a sister who was a drug addict
Yeah.
for 10 years. She went to prison for 3 years, and she's been clean and
Oh
sober
wow.
for 9 and is doing very well in her career and has been married and has a baby on the way, like, but she said she wouldn't have turned it around if she didn't have the judge throw the book at her. So we need to see a lot more of that, for us to clean this city up. But until we start, making drugs legal, was that it's not that they're legal, it's that they're not prosecuted, right? So like there
Prosecuted.
Yeah.
is a difference
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But that
It's
it
not that
creates a
they
haven.
change the category or anything. It's just that
Right.
things like cashless bail and all that other stuff, and these
Well, isn't
fickle
it?
judges who are, what do you call it? They legislate from the bench, so they're like, well,
Right.
this, it shouldn't be this long for this person who's, has an addiction, so we're just gonna let them back out on the street so they can
Yes.
terrorize more people.
Yes.
Cat
I w-
Scott, you were gonna say
Is,
something, brother.
yeah.
isn't it one of those cities where they're giving out tons of free needles anyway?
Yes. So, and I know this firsthand because I
I
have
mean,
a
that just
sister who was a
encourages
drug
it.
addict. My sister was
Yeah.
arrested, oh my gosh, a dozen times before they finally threw the book at her because she was
Hmm.
stealing and doing illegal things to get her
Right.
fix. And
It's crazy.
so, yeah, and they do the whole, yeah, you get the free drug needles, and they even do for homeless. The majority of the homeless folks are drug addicts, by the way. I mean, you guys know this, but
Yeah.
most people don't really, and they either have a severe mental health disorder or they're drug addicts. But
Or they're
they give
strung
away
out.
free
Yeah.
tents.
Or sometimes they're both.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, yeah, the city of Portland hands out free tents and
Wait,
tarps,
what?
and yeah, oh yeah,
Wait, hold
sleeping
up.
bags.
So they're handing out camping gear and shit?
Yes, camping gear to camp in the city.
Oh wow.
100%.
Because they
Didn't
don't
know that.
frown on it.
No, and they have, like, nicer shit than I do, quite frankly. I mean, for
To go
camping,
camping
pardon
with?
my French, but, like,
Oh no,
it's
no,
like
don't worry about it.
okay,
No, we
good.
like the French here. We like the French. Don't worry
Okay,
about
I
it.
just wanna make sure. But, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that the city of Portland goes to REI and buys, like, bulk amounts using taxpayer dollars
Holy shit.
and buys all of this, and I have to tell you guys something. I live in Clackamas County, which is right outside of Portland. I mean, I can touch Portland in 10 minutes, but I'm right outside for a reason. I don't know how the hell this happened, but we have to pay if we make X amount of money, we have to send money to the city of Portland for their homeless problem, and I don't even live in
Wait,
Portland
Crazy.
proper.
That's
wait,
ridiculous.
is Portland part of the county?
No, I live in Clackamas
Wait,
County, which
It's
Portland
just
is
a
so
state
okay,
Multnomah
policy.
County.
but
They
how
did
does
it,
that even
yeah. Someone was sleeping with someone when they made that decision, and that pisses me off. So
that
every
doesn't
year,
surprise me.
we have to send money to Portland, even though I don't even reside
Oh,
there for a reason.
so you gotta pay for the bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't they do that in New York, Eric?
Well, the way they
I
do
thought they
that
did that
is if
too.
no, if
Not
well,
directly.
yeah, not direct, well, directly, the way they do it directly is stuff like congestion taxes now, right? Like coming in, if you have to come in across the bridges and stuff like that, obviously the tolls, the MTA, they
Yeah.
jack everything up, okay, so that they make it difficult for you to get into the city and work in the first place, and that's how they get your money.
Mm,
If you actually work in the city, okay, you end up having to pay the city tax, okay, on because like I worked in the city for quite some time,
Hmm.
even though I didn't live in the city. I had to, what do you call it, pay a tax. And then even when I moved to New Jersey, because I lived in Jersey City for a while, was still paying New York City tax because I worked in the city and stuff
mm,
like that. And then I had to do a whole thing with making sure my accountant got all my stuff right, just to get some of that back and everything. But they
yeah.
find ways. They got different ways of getting you.
Mhm.
But the congestion taxing right now is the big thing. If you go across, and that's not only just affecting the people coming from like Brooklyn into Manhattan across like the Brooklyn Bridge. There used to never be a toll on the Brooklyn Bridge and stuff like that. Like the only places where you had a
Hmm.
toll coming into Manhattan from that side was Jesus, the Queensboro Bridge didn't have it. What the hell is that? I can't for the life of me
The
remember that damn
LIRR?
tunnel.
Oh, a
Yeah,
tunnel. Oh.
I'm trying to remember the tunnel that goes into Long Island City, and for the life of me, I can't think of it off the top of my
Well,
head. I'm
that's
drawing a
pretty
blank.
much where I lived, Astoria, Long Island City, right
Yeah,
at that line there. Yeah, I
Okay.
can't think of it either,
I can't for the
but
life of me. Why
Is
I'm
that near the
freaking drawing a blank.
Major Deegan Expressway?
Well, that's the Major Deegan. It goes through the Bronx, and that turns into the New York State Thruway. I can't
I
for the
thought that
life
was
of
near
me
the.
remember.
Thought that was the Hutchinson.
No, the Hutchinson goes through, what do you call it? Westchester into the Bronx.
I'm just naming highways.
I know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
random.
know. You're naming things and they're like.
Love it. Oh my gosh. That's funny. I
Uh,
know you guys probably see this a lot though. It's like, I don't know. Do you both live in blue states? Sorry.
no,
I should know
I'm
this.
in a free state now.
Okay, and then you're in Florida. Okay. So the thing
I'm in
is, it's
Florida, yeah.
like I get so much crap. When I post something, not so much anymore, but when I post
Wait,
stuff
hold that thought.
about
Hold that thought. It
Yeah,
hit me.
yeah.
It hit me. The Queens Midtown Tunnel. There you go. Go ahead.
Oh, there you go. You know what you hate when that comes to you and then you're like, I have to do this now or otherwise I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah.
Totally. But the thing is, so I don't even know what I was saying. Oh my gosh, I do that sometimes.
You
You
asked
said
if
we
we
live
lived
in
in blue states.
free states.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I said we
You
both
guys
said
have
we
it.
live in free states.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I don't even. It'll come back to me.
All right,
Oh
all right, sorry
no!
about that.
I know that's so bad.
wrecked
I'm
that.
so bad. I'm
That
like,
was
No, I
Eric's
wrecked
fault.
that. That
no,
was
you
my fault.
didn't.
That's
You
all my
didn't.
fault.
I
I
Your
should.
wrecked
Queens
that.
I should be
Midtown
able.
Tunnel, Eric. That's your fault.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
should be.
Long
No,
Island
here's what I was
City.
gonna say. I remember. So people
Okay.
give me so much crap online because I'm a big advocate for not fleeing your state when things aren't going right, like stay and fight, right? And my
Okay.
family's here. That's a different thing. If I had no family here, I'd be out, right? But these are my
Right.
roots. So I get when I post things that are happening in the Northwest, I get so many people who are like, "Why don't you move?" It's like that's not the resolution for everything, right? Like
Correct.
eventually it's gonna be everywhere. So someone bold needs to stay and fight and not flee their territory anytime something they don't like is happening. Do something about it. So I'm always fighting that fight.
No, and that's a fight that needs to be had. I mean, I left because like my whole family was gone anyway, so I
Well,
had no
yeah,
reason to stay
it
in New
makes
York.
Wait a
sense.
second. You
Yeah,
said that whole thing, and we're sitting here with Eric, who basically fled New York.
But if you
yeah, and I
have no
fled New
family
York.
there, like I'm talking like my roots are here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's totally different situation. Yeah, people just think we should just pack up the whole family, throw grandma on the
We
top of the trunk
we
and take
we
off.
Yeah, we got tons of friends that have been on the show that are from New York City and have been, have been fighting their patriots, and we respect it. I respect it. We got friends from friends of the show from California who've been on, okay, and they're fighting there too. So
Yeah.
we respect it. Actually, one of the things Scott and I did for how many months now, Scott? We've been talking about New York City and California, trying to help for
We
months
were.
now, man.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if it did too much in the last week or
Yeah.
so, but
Everything from
we
having
tried.
political candidates on from New York City to you name it, we tried it. We just tried to help
Yeah.
the Patriots. But
Yeah.
but
It's a
on the
tough
flip
fight.
side of that, I understand when people just have throw up their hands and they've had enough and they're like, I can't do this anymore, and they just get out. So like, I won't tell anybody not to move, but I get people staying where they're at and trying to fight. That is an important fight that needs to actually continue to happen. And there are people who
Yeah.
are going to continue to do it. And, that's why, like I said, I continue to try to help them fight because New York City has a place in my heart.
Right.
And if I can use my platform to help any of them out, I will. But
Yeah.
I left. I'm in a free state now. And the first thing I did is went and got some pew-pews.
Nice. Oh my God. Here I am offending both of you. I'm so sorry.
You're
I
not
do that
offending
well.
us, not even remotely. No,
You
it's
didn't
not
offend
No.
me.
offending.
I didn't.
You didn't
I
offend
didn't
me.
flee
You
anyone.
didn't offend me
Listen,
at all.
if I didn't have family here, I wouldn't be here, right? But when you do, like that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like when
You
you
got
have your
roots.
roots here, you really you should be fighting it out. But yeah, it's just a wild situation to be a part of. But it's that whole apathy I think a lot of people have is it's like
That's the problem,
it's
is the
just
apathy.
yeah, just leave. Like no, that's not. And what, leave and then kick my feet up in a red state? You look at Idaho. I border Idaho, right? Like it's like so
It's
many
a pretty
people that
state.
I know went to Idaho, but you know what's happening? It's becoming more and more and more liberal, and they get really worked up when someone liberal moves there. But I haven't seen them engaged anywhere near the level of engagement that you are going to see elsewhere in blue
Right.
states, right? Because they've had it good for so long, so that apathy is there in that state, and if they've already lost Boise, I mean that's just gone. So to the blue staters, they came in and they took over the voting, and it's a Democrat ran city now. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's sad. That's my problem, right? It's like you get all these people who are upset about what's happening in their state, and then they leave, right? And it's their right to leave, but then they go and they vote for the same bullshit that they left, okay?
yeah,
And they fuck up where they go, okay? So it's like,
yeah,
why are you leaving where you just stay where you're at if you're going to continue to vote the same way?
exactly.
Don't go to another state. Like I came right in to where I'm at, and I fit perfectly because again, my family was never on that liberal Marxist plantation. We
Yeah.
have always been conservatives. We got a few idiots in our family. We still love them, okay, but they're idiots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we
Yeah.
tell them they're idiots, but it's like you continue to be the dumbass that you are. We still love you. We're gonna do our shit
Yes.
over here. Don't worry
Yes.
about it. Okay.
Exactly.
We don't stop talking to them because like we have a different
Good.
ideology and stuff like that. But again, don't flee to another state, to a free state, and then fuck it up over there. We don't want
Yeah.
that. Like I came where I'm
Exactly.
at and moved right in, and I fit in perfectly. I was actually looking forward to voting, okay, but there was nothing in my district that I could vote for. I was
Yeah, I
so
didn't get
pissed.
anything either this time.
I was like, I
Not that
had
it would have
nothing.
mattered.
I had absolutely nothing. I was like, I gotta wait till next year, but that's all right. I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I was like, Scott and I were gonna talk and find out what freaking local candidates we have in our districts and see if we could bring them on the show.
Yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
You guys did the right thing. Actually, I did have one thing to vote on. They were going to put in this crazy like rec center, and we have really high taxes where we live. This county in particular, this rec center was going to be funded with like billions of dollars, and it was going to be opened
Oh,
up to people that didn't reside in our county. So you would have had the shit coming in from Portland,
Yeah.
and it specifically even said on there, we want this to be available to those less fortunate. So what are you going to have like all the homeless and Section 8 housers come in
Oh
there?
yeah.
probably.
Meanwhile, but it failed. So I have to say we worked really hard on putting that all over social media in a local sense, and that levy
Good.
failed. So we're very happy about that. So we
Oh,
had,
that's good.
little wins if you focus local.
You have to. It's so important. It is just so
Yep.
important to pay attention to what's going on locally. And again, Scott and I stress this to everybody who's watching all the time. Anytime we talk about any kind of voting, is please, please, please pay attention, okay, to who you're voting for in your district, your town, your village,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Okay, you have to do your due diligence. Okay, and unfortunately, like you mentioned early on in the show, people don't do their due diligence. They don't even take the time
Yeah.
to look. Like you said. Now, again, you taught us about undervoting. They just like didn't even fill it out. Okay,
Yeah.
they hit the top guy, but the guy on the bottom, they just like, well, no, I don't know who he is. Well,
Yeah.
probably you should have probably took the time to know who he was, so you know who you're voting for.
Yeah, exactly. I have to tell you, one of my friends just ran a race and he came in at 49.5 and the other guy had, 50.5, and there were 4,500 something undervotes. And
Hmm.
it's just, it's one of those things where if he would have had people that knew who he was and which party he aligned with, probably would have taken it home. It's painful.
Wow, it is. Okay, Scott, you were gonna say something, brother?
I was going to ask, wasn't there a movement
Went down the
for
wrong pipe.
what's that?
I said went down the wrong pipe.
Oh, you? You
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, I'm
Okay.
good. Keep
Trying to
going.
breathe in his beverage.
I was going to say, wasn't there a movement in Oregon where there was some eastern counties that were trying to split apart?
Yeah, the Greater
And if
Idaho
so,
movement.
is that just a pipe dream?
I think so. I mean, it's gained a little traction, but that really, I'm not a proponent of it because it screws me because I don't live in one of those counties. I'm in the Portland area, so I'd rather keep the most conservative counties in my state. So I don't get on that and support them much, selfishly. But yeah, it has a little bit of traction, but I actually don't see it coming to fruition.
Would
I
probably
was
take a
just
lot
wondering
for that to happen.
what it would take. There needs to be
Yeah.
something like maybe it's going to take a constitutional amendment or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
like, Texas is
but
trying to secede for what, how many decades? I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's
well, that's
something
the state
like
seceding
that
from the yeah. I mean,
from the
that's just like
union.
somebody. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
trying to
but they're
secede
trying to
completely. But
secede from the union. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's
I
along
mean,
I would
there's
say it's almost along those lines, like the
Yeah.
probability.
they should have they should have a point where they just let like a bunch of states just restructure, because you'd
It,
have
it,
like Eastern Washington, Eastern Oregon, Northern California,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
like merging into their own state or joining Idaho. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be
Like you'd have
wild.
parts of Georgia that you'd have like tons of people, counties in Georgia that would be like, screw Atlanta. You know what?
Yeah.
We want to split apart from that, maybe join Florida or something like that. Um, even
Yeah.
parts of New York. I'm sure there's states in upper New York maybe that would want to
Y-
break apart from New York
y-
City.
y-
I don't know.
You know, I will tell you, man, and we've said it. You've said it, Scott. I've said it. There really is no such thing as a blue state. It's just blue cities that absolutely dominate those states.
Yeah.
Because if you look at a state like New York, and I'm pretty sure in Oregon as well, outside of in New York has 5, 6 major cities. Outside of those cities, it is completely red. It is just that it's so dense in those cities that they can't ever, you know, they can't ever surpass when it comes to voting. And it doesn't help with the apathy, like we were talking about. They don't even
Yeah.
come out to vote in the first place, right? Look at if you're looking at say this last election in New York City, well, they only close to 3 million people voted. There are 8 million people who are registered to vote in the city of New York. Can you imagine if 8 million people came out and they actually split the vote the way it should be? Who knows who would have won?
Yeah.
It's just Mom Donnie might not be the mayor right now if that was the case, but 6 million people decided not to vote on a little bit over, probably a little bit under than 6 million people didn't vote on
It's
election
messed
night.
up.
That's
It's so
insane.
messed up. I have to tell you the gubernatorial race in 2022 in Oregon, so it was a 45% went to the Republican and then the 55 went to the Democrat, but the maddening part is that over 200,000 Republican registered rural voters did not vote in that election. Can you imagine? That would have put us over and then some. So it's that
So,
apathy. It's disgusting and I have no respect
mhm.
for it.
How
You
do
know
we
what?
break that? Because that is a big problem.
I
Go
can
ahead,
tell you
Scott. Go ahead,
how.
man.
I know exactly how. It's the same situation. It's been like as far as back as I can remember. You have the Republican Party, thumping their chest and bragging about how many voters they've signed up and how many donations they're collecting each quarter, each month. Oh my God, 2025 alone, breaking records, breaking records. We've seen that all year long from the Republican Party. And yet, when it comes down to state elections, local elections, they
Nothing.
don't pay. Where do they spend in their money on?
Yeah.
They'll waste their money on a candidate they'll waste their money on a candidate who has like no opponents in like a district that they don't even need any money.
Right.
They won't throw it against they'll let Lauren Boebert have to fend for herself in a tough race out in Colorado, and yet how much money did they throw at like Mitch McConnell and what's a douche from South Carolina, um,
Which one? Lindsey Graham?
Lindsay?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Warmonger.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like people that they're like they're like in such safe
Yeah.
districts
They're
or
so
states.
entrenched they don't have to worry
They
about it.
don't they
Yeah.
don't need freaking $10 million for their campaign. Are you
Makes you
crazy?
wonder. Makes you wonder. So it's like, why? What's the reason
Yeah.
for that?
How come seems like every month we hear about a quote special election? I look at politics every fucking day. From the time I wake up until the time I go to bed. And most of these special elections or these runoff, I don't know. I don't hear about it.
Right.
Where's the news?
Yeah.
Why is it like the Gateway Pundit squawking about it enough? Why isn't the RNC putting blasts out every single day saying, "Hey, everybody, call a neighbor, tell a friend."
Yeah.
They have no
Yeah.
ground game and they don't spend the
Uh,
money where they need to.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something with the left. They're very organized and they're in
Hmm.
lockstep and we have a lot of infighting, right? And so
Yep.
it's very distracting. I've seen it here locally. I mean, for instance, here I have a large audience and I've been reaching out to the Republican Party here locally in my own county and I don't get a return call or a return email. Imagine the impact I could have here locally if they would get back with me. But, it's just the blue hairs, the women, they just wanna go have their little lunches and continue doing that once a month, and act like that's doing something, but it's not making a difference. It's the status quo.
No.
It's not working, and that's a problem.
it's sad because you're giving them a platform, right? Like you're hey, use my platform to use your voice,
Exactly.
okay? And I will help you. And they don't even respond,
Yeah.
and we get that. Trust me, Scott, we understand it because Scott and I we reach out to a lot of people, not just political commentators, influencers. We're reaching out to political candidates. I just had one on Wednesday, okay, from Florida, who's running for Florida 24 for the third time, okay. And we're doing the best we can on our
Yeah.
end to just, hey, we're giving you a platform. We have viewers from all over the country. We have viewers, and we try to be strategic about it. Like, hey, we got a lot of viewers in Florida. Come from Florida, use our platform, open your mouth and just talk to the people, right? Like
Yeah.
they'll listen, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
they just don't. They have this old world way of thinking that they just don't want to do things differently, okay? And
Right.
and we're killing ourselves that way, okay? Because again, we saw it again this freaking election cycle, all right? In the odd years, we just do dumb shit. We don't pay attention to what Scott is saying. We don't give money to people who need it, okay? And we're giving it to giving money to people who don't. All right.
Right.
And in this case, they didn't even give any money. Can you tell me anybody who got money from the National Party at all to run this cycle?
Was
I
it wasn't
can't.
I'm
Sliwa.
not privy to
It
it.
wasn't Sliwa. He didn't get
I
shit.
can't. He didn't
They
get
didn't.
anything. Sleewa didn't get
Yeah.
shit.
You know.
Yeah.
You know what the
Did
big?
Sears get anything down in Virginia? Okay, she wasn't the best
No,
candidate, but did she get any
hardly
help?
any. Hardly any. And Citarelli didn't get much. Citarelli had the fortunate of having a Scott Pressler on the ground stumping for him,
Yeah.
who's a beast, and that still wasn't enough.
Yeah.
You know what the biggest difference between the Republicans and the Democrats right now? The Democrats, they go all out at every single election. They
Yeah.
don't even care about what happens after that one election. They will lie,
They all hate
cheat, and
each other, by the
steal.
way.
They will
They
eat
all
their
hate each
own.
other.
Yeah, they will lie, but they will lie, cheat, and steal to just like for them, like November 4th or whatever the date was this past week. That's all they fucking focused on. Getting through November 4th, coming away with the wins. The Republican Party is like, well, we have to think about what's going to happen next year and the year after that and the year after that. They're like, there's too freaking long gaming. And they're just like, dude, just focus on what's next. That's it. Focus on you guys.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just, I'm not saying do that all the time either, but they seem never to focus on what's next. They're worried about the midterms next year. They're worried about 2028. That's what they're saving all their
Yeah.
money for. It's like, dude, it's not just about that.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't understand that. I was trying to
Yeah,
read some of the questions in
What
the comments
what
here.
do you got? I can bring it up. Who do you have? And I'll go
Someone
back and
tagged
get it.
me, and I like to be responsive, but
No, no,
I
it's
didn't
fine.
want to get too distracted, and then ask me
No, it's
something, and
okay.
I'm like, what? But I love that you
Oh, there
guys
was
have
a.
this live.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I think
And
Blondie mentioned
Kristen,
Kristen, but
yeah, I think Blondie said, well, Star Spangled Kyle, who's going to be on the show on the 24th. We're trying to see if we can change the dates to sooner, is going to be on with us. Blondie said
Nice.
Kristen, Petty Crocker, and me should do a show one night.
Hey.
I think Conserve.
Blondie's
Conserve answered asked a question a little
yeah.
bit back too.
All right, yeah. Let me
Yeah.
see.
I'm all
Let
about
me
it.
go.
Just DM me on Instagram.
Yeah. I'll start with this one. He says, Big Red One Guy. I sent you the sample ballot. Did you see the questions? I didn't see it. They wanted people to vote on the first question. I don't know what that question is. To
Oh,
make a ski resort in upstate. Okay, there you go. It's upstate New York in the National Forest land. If it's in the Catskills, then yeah, who knows? Question 6 was also to make the city elections move to an even year voting instead of off year voting, which is what I think they did in Miami just this year. That was something that was on a Miami
gosh.
ballot.
I think that'd be a very smart move.
It says this way everyone hang on. It says this way everyone elected it gets an extra year in office and pay, and it allows more of their age demographic to vote. And then he asked, what are your thoughts about that?
I see just based on what we were talking about, how we see like that apathy, especially in between midterms and then election year, like presidential election years. I see it as a potential positive for that reason alone, because then you do have the spend where they're putting money behind actual candidates. I didn't think haven't thought as far as going into that they get the extra year and then they get extra potential people voting. I didn't go that far into it, but just merely talking about a funding standpoint, because I've worked on a lot of campaigns and the funding is always an issue.
Right.
And yeah, unless you're one of those huge household names, I think from that point, it could be a win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Well, you know
conserv
what?
said they attempted to do it in Miami and it got rejected, and then DeSantis put the kibosh on it. There you go.
Okay. So maybe, maybe long
You know
term it's
what?
not a positive thing. He's a smart guy.
Maybe. But you know what? I mean, Trump had the right idea. And once again, I don't know if the RNC is doing anything about it.
They're not.
When Trump was
I'm
talking about
I'm I'm upset.
having a midterm party, a rally, midterm,
Yep.
like, convention,
Mm,
which
yeah.
to me, I don't know why they haven't done that before, but I'll leave it to Trump to, at least say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, what a great idea. It's not been done before. Even the Democrats were saying, oh, if they do one, then we're going to do one. Of course they're going to
Mhm.
fucking try to do it.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Because
get them up there, get
they're
all
gonna
these,
bite on shit.
yeah, well, at least, get these candidates out there, get them extra exposure, have the networks have to cover it. And,
Yeah.
maybe these people will get off their asses and go vote in the midterms.
Yeah,
It's where
exactly.
we are hurting right now, and conserve reality says something about them targeting the younger voting class, which is they've always done that, but
They always
we
do that.
lost we lost
Yeah.
a huge voice, okay, who was helping us with that. Okay,
Yeah.
they took him out. They literally murdered him and they
Mhm.
assassinated him. Okay,
They did.
and nobody has stepped up to the challenge. The
Right.
way that oh shit, we lost Scott. The way Charlie Kirk, okay, interacted with the youth on campus, okay,
Yeah.
in high schools now too. I know like DeSantis has what do you call it? He has signed something into legislation or executive orders, essentially making sure that every high school in the state of Florida has a
Oh,
TPUSA.
right. Yeah.
So Scott, are you back with us, man? We saw that you bumped out there for a minute. Well, I see you silenced, so he's back with us. But so
Nice.
we lost a massive voice.
Yeah,
Okay, losing Charlie Kirk. He
we
was
did.
actually the gains that he was making in the youth movement. Okay, on like I said, on college campuses
Mhm.
and on in high schools. It's sad. Terribly sad with that. Do you
Yeah.
think there's anybody who can step up? Because it's got somebody who has to be able to engage, okay,
Yeah.
on
No
their
one can
level. And
replace him.
no,
So
Charlie Kirk is Charlie Kirk. No one's gonna
yeah,
replace him.
exactly. I'm concerned. So I'm a TPU ambassador, and I was just in Tampa in July with Charlie Kirk, and there's some concerns right now because, for instance, none of us ambassadors have received anything. We have AmFest coming up. It's a huge thing. A lot of times President
Yeah,
Trump shows
that's in
up
December. That's in
in
December, right?
December, right before
Yeah.
Christmas, which I don't love. But
A
nobody
good friend
has.
of our show goes every year, so like she's there.
It's
Chelsea, if you know who Chelsea Boyle is, she's there
I
usually.
don't, but the
Yeah.
the thing is, though, there's something broken inside because they haven't reached out to any of the ambassadors and said, "Okay, here's what we wanna do. Here's where you're staying." Like, 0 communication. So, to
Hmm.
continue the momentum that Charlie had, I think people don't see that behind the scenes, like, basic communication, has not come back together. So, I'm happy they're putting together a halftime show for the NFL, yay, but there's some basic stuff that they need to get their shit together on, otherwise they're going to lose that momentum. That said, that's just one of the pain points. I'm thinking of it from a strategic business standpoint.
No,
um,
but you have to think of it that way, right? Because, like,
yeah,
again, it is a massive loss with Charlie Kirk. Okay, the momentum that it doesn't help with the bullshit that's going on with the conspiracies and all that other crap and stuff like that. That's not helping.
yeah,
Okay,
no.
there's this massive infighting going on. Okay, in our movement
Hmm.
as a whole, that is not helping. Okay, and
Right.
again, I'm not telling people not to look into things. Scott, we go down plenty of rabbit
I
holes.
do too. I mean,
Okay,
you have
on this
to.
show. Okay, we
That's why
we
we're
we do.
conservative.
Yeah, we go down plenty of rabbit holes,
Yeah,
right? And but we don't get stuck. That is the problem, is that half actually I feel like there's three factions in our movement right now in our party. Okay, you got, you know, the conservatives, the MAGA movement, you got the people on the Tucker Candace freaking camp right now, and
yeah,
then you got the freaking neocons that just we need to get rid of. If we can get rid of them first, then that might fix a lot of other stuff, because the neocons are actually just absolutely wrecking everything that we do. But
yeah,
and this goes back to Scott mentioned it, and you mentioned it as well, is the unity. Okay,
yeah,
is just like we have to find. It's okay to disagree with each other. We don't have to agree on absolutely everything, but we really need to figure out how we can come together and get going again. Because as
yeah.
we saw in New York City, okay, like 80% of women under 30 or whatever it is, okay, voted
Yeah.
for this scumbag, okay? Like this
Yeah.
goat fucker is the mayor because liberal women, okay, are just like on top of everything right now
Yeah.
in their movement, okay? And it's just like it's frightening, right? Because I know what's going to happen in New York City. The call for war, because it's not a call for prayer, okay, is going to be, you're
Yeah.
going to hear it in every borough. They're going to be putting up mosques. It's coming,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And it's going to cause a reaction with the rest of America that's not going to be nice. And I don't want
Mm-mm.
to see that. You know, we don't want to see like violence in the streets and shit like, but that's
No.
coming if we don't do something about it. And
Yeah.
we as a group have to come together, and we gotta fix our shit. Like I said earlier,
Yeah.
like I said, we gotta fix our shit, okay? Because we have a problem right now.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And we need somebody strong. We need to like. I'm always foreshadowing. Okay, Trump, he's not going to keep going, right? Like everyone's like, oh,
Nope,
third term, come on. So
nope.
that wouldn't be a good thing. That would,
Yeah, he
approach
can't do it
go
anyway,
into
and he said
dictatorship.
as much. He
Yeah,
said as much.
like
It's like
it's
the
not
Constitution
even.
says I can't do it.
Yeah. So we really need to understand. I know we're all speculating on who would be next. I think JD Vance makes a lot of sense, right?
Right.
But we have to have that person because Trump alone is getting a lot of people over the finish line. I mean, it's him and his momentum and the excitement behind him. It's concerning that once he's done, it's like where is that going to come from, right? Because of all the infighting and because we don't work in lockstep like the left does.
Yeah.
So we need to, yeah, definitely figure it out now.
Yeah, they're a conglomerate of like, just like hateful groups that actually come together like the cesspool sewage
Yeah.
that they are, and they congeal perfectly when the time is right.
Yes, they
Again,
do.
we don't all have to agree with one another on things. Nobody's saying that we should be, oh, we got to be lockstep and just think like a
Yeah.
monolith. We're not like that. That's what makes us different than them, is that
Yeah.
we're not sheep and we're not a cult. Okay, we can think for
Right.
ourselves. With that said, we have to we have to get people together and just come together when the time is right. Because as we saw what happened, again, I don't. We our candidates this election cycle had no help from the party whatsoever, like none. I
Mm,
don't think they would have won
yeah.
anyway, but there was still no help whatsoever from the national party. Not even their state,
Yeah.
on the state levels, there was no help.
Yeah, I was just thinking though, we have one positive. That guy that looks like I'm the captain now from he didn't win, right? Like that was
The
he
Somali
just
pirate,
scared the shit out of me, quite
he made me
frankly.
choke.
He
I
lost to the other liberal douche, though.
I know
He
that's
made
just
me.
it. It's
She
like,
just made
is
me
it
choke.
I'm like, you know what I kept thinking when I see his head? I'm like, his skull must look really wild. You know what
He's
I mean?
definitely
Like
a.
I want to see that
Did
X-ray.
you hear about why he lost, though?
No, talk to me.
Oh, he lost. It wasn't because people just liked Frey more. He lost because they've imported so many Somali people to that district that they actually are having some warlord battles,
Oh
and
my
they're actually
gosh.
he's part of a different tribe, gang, whatever you want to call it. And there's literally like there's that many there that they're actually rivals, and that there was a pretty large contingent that refused to vote for him just because
Wow.
his family owed another family so many goats or something, and not exactly that, but something like stupid.
Oh my
Like there's like
gosh.
back in Somalia, there's like right, there's like fighting going on, and because of that, he lost a lot of the Somali vote in the city.
Oh my goodness.
It's so ridiculous.
I did not know that, and
Yeah, that came out today.
it came out today, okay. Yeah, Nick Fuentes, people say what they will about him. I'm just starting to research him a little bit, I don't know, but I'm just curious, like, he's been touching on that a little bit, and so that was the first time I started to hear about it. I didn't, know in great detail, what was going on there, but wow. So it's really not a win, it's just, like, maybe the least scary looking individual
It's
one.
Yeah,
Cosmetic only.
What happened in Minneapolis is what they were hoping would happen in New York City, basically. They were hoping
Okay,
that the less radical Democrat would take it,
I
and
see. Yeah.
it just didn't happen. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
But that
yeah,
was mostly because Sliwa didn't get any help at all.
yeah,
His whole campaign was just a ground, grassroots. That's it.
yeah. I know. And he should have dropped out. I mean, that's one of the things. It's like I hate this.
I
It's
don't think
kind of
he
a
should have.
communist. You don't think so?
I
Sometimes
don't
I
think
No.
just
so.
think
Well,
Nope.
like
Nope.
go
his,
ahead and explain, and then
well, I'm just thinking like the gap, like the likability for him, the likelihood. I just feel like that was just a gap that they couldn't make up. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Sounds like you guys have different
Maybe
opinions.
No,
for
no.
maybe for him, but the problem is that people. I saw a lot of big accounts, and even people that we've had on the show that I have to respectfully disagree with wholeheartedly because they were like, "Oh, if Sliwa had just dropped out, that 8% would have gone to
It
would have
was
Yeah,
gone
it
it
to
was
doesn't
Cuomo."
work
Like
like that. I
that's
know
it
that.
it
Yeah.
bullshit. Most of those
it was
people would
less
Yeah.
than
never have voted for Cuomo, ever.
correct.
Yeah.
I
That's true.
I see it this way. Okay, for one, listen, Sliwa, he's not a conservative. He was the only Republican that won his primary. Okay, there was no reason why, as a candidate, he should have dropped out. Two, okay, again, some of these big accounts and stuff like that. Again, people we've had on the show and still love them and stuff like that and everything.
Yeah.
They they were asking voters, okay, to don't vote for the guy who's going to ram it in using talcum powder. Vote for the guy who's going to massage your back, put some Diddy oil on, tell you he's only going to put in the tip, and then he's going to ram you. All right. So you were going to get the same thing no matter what, whether it was Cuomo or Mamdani. So like it's the same shit. Cuomo is responsible for the state of New York and New York City right now. Okay? 10 years that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, so
Mhm.
that there was no other choice. And again, why would you tell somebody who won their primary? It's not like he came in as an independent. Cuomo lost his primary. He just decided to I'm going to come in to be the spoiler, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I see it, okay? Again, Eric Adams was on the ballot, and people forget there was like 3 other people on the ballot too
Yeah.
that didn't drop out. All right? So again, Curtis Lee probably didn't have a stand a chance no matter what. But like Scott said, those people were not going to vote for Cuomo no matter what. So the math was
Yeah.
not going to be there regardless.
That's true. And my only argument is math. So you're right on that because I start reflecting on everything that I've seen firsthand working on campaigns. And you're right, like a lot of people, and that's where we go wrong as a party. It's not like let's do what's best, even though it's like we have two evils here. One is more extreme than the other. The other we know the MO, which I think that's important to think about. And a lot of people aren't going to vote that way, even though they know their vote's just being tanked, right? Like that's like me here in the Northwest. A lot of my
You
votes,
know,
nothing,
that's a
it
fair
doesn't go
assessment.
anywhere.
That's
But
but
I get where you're coming from. I do.
I couldn't in good conscience, Kristen, tell people to vote for Cuomo. I lived in New York while Cuomo was the governor. Okay, I watched him destroy the state. He killed his freaking tactics and the things that he did killed people's
Yeah.
grandparents.
Yeah.
Massive amount of people lost their jobs during COVID and stuff like that. These so-called people who were not who were essential but ended up losing their jobs and stuff like that. The economy tanked because of the bullshit that he was doing. So like he ushered in. Curtis Lewa had like a perfect comment in one of the debates when he looked at him. He said, "This guy's the architect and this guy's the apprentice." He is absolutely correct. No
Yeah.
matter who you voted for, you were going to get the same thing. Like I said, one guy was going to use talcum powder, the other guy was just going to use Diddy oil.
That description, I can't beat that. I can't beat that. That's for
It,
sure.
it, that's the truth, right? So like I
I
couldn't
don't know.
in
I don't know. I can't go with the radical Muslim. I just can't. Like that's
no,
just
for sure.
No,
Like
that's
who
that is an
just
would?
it for
absolute
me. I would
disaster.
Um,
That's an
yeah.
absolute disaster.
Yeah. I would
They
rather
had a
go for
shot.
the evil I know.
Yeah, but
But
like
as
again, more
sick as that is, right? Like, but
yeah, no, I
that's
get that.
yeah,
I get that,
it's
and I
unfortunate.
understand that. But just me personally, I couldn't. Being a conservative, I couldn't tell people to vote against the guy that actually won his primary.
I get
You
that.
know,
I
you
do.
know what I'm saying? It's like he did what he was supposed to do, and again, he
Yeah.
didn't get any help. Nobody helped him.
Yeah.
He had grassroots people helping him on the ground, trying to help him and stuff like this.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it.
I
I
know.
wouldn't do it because that's just not my principle stuff.
Yeah.
Again, I witnessed and I experienced Cuomo, so like I knew that no matter if he got elected, he's gonna do the same thing that Mamdani does. But the problem is that people are so uneducated. Okay, going back to what we talked about earlier on. Okay, about paying attention to what happened and doing your research on Mom Dummy, okay, and doing on what the things that Sliwa wanted to do and stuff like that. He's not a conservative by any stretch, okay, but he's purple. But he would have definitely been able to at least do some executive orders, do some things to freaking try to help the city out. Because he doesn't have the work. He wouldn't have had the workhorses in the city council anyway, right?
Right,
Because it is
right.
completely Marxist. But he
Yeah.
could have actually put up some sort of resistance. Cuomo, he has the city council to do whatever he wants. He's going to do the same shit. He would have did the same shit Mamdani does. And obviously,
Mhm.
Mamdani now being elected, he's going to, what do you call it? He's going to just run roughshod. But there are things that he can't do, right? Like
Yeah.
some of the things that he's promising, he needs Governor Hochul to sign off on that stuff. And she's got an election coming up, and
She's already
right now
said no.
right now she's already
Yeah.
said no, and she's having a hard time. Okay, against Elise Stefanik right now is polling better than her.
I have to tell. Okay, you mentioned city council, and I just have to touch on this. I had this ready to tell you guys because it's so funny. Funny, not funny, right? In the city of Portland, so we had 5 council members, and they upped it to 12. Okay, and then they like to complain about budget, right? So each of them makes 134,000 a year. And then the mayor's salary is right at like 175. But the point is, we went from 5 of them to 12 of them, and then we're defunding like Parks and Rec, Portland Police, right?
To give them their salaries.
But here's what the humor is, because I just see humor in everything. I just can't help
You
myself.
have to. You
So
have to.
get this. Okay,
Yep.
so 4 out of the 12 are LGBTQ. One's like bisexual, others are just gay. One, they had to check the disability box too. I feel bad even saying this, okay? But one of them was born without arms. So when
Oh
you
God.
see this whole picture of the 12 city council
The
members,
hell?
I'm gonna start laughing.
it's like a
It's like a child with
circus.
thalidomide or something.
It's
I'm
like
going
it
to
was a
hell.
birth defect. I know, me too.
It's like
I mean, not
Thalidomide,
really.
maybe?
Total recall.
Jesus still loves
Quaid.
us, but
Quaid.
I mean, come on. So it's like when you should go pull it up. Pull up the image of the 12 whenever you guys have
Okay,
spare time and you just
hang on
want
1 second. What
a
do I
giggle.
put in? What do I search? 12 what?
Portland City Council members,
Oh God, we're gonna have
2025.
fucking
God.
Quaid in here.
They got a
Listen,
they got a gimp on the city council.
I
Oh
feel
my God.
so bad saying that, but I know what they're doing. They're checking a box, right? Like let's
All
make
Yeah,
right,
of
hang
course.
on.
sure. So we've got
Yep.
and they're half women, half men for LGBTQ,
I'm
one
trying
disabled.
to find like a recent one.
It's a big freak show.
Hang on.
It
Let me
really
put
looks
in
like almost like a joke.
2025.
I could be mistaken. Is there
Like
a
this,
little person in there too? I could be mistaken on that.
Wait.
the circus came to town.
Yeah, there is. Oh Lord. Hang on.
You found it? I
I
mean,
found it
that's
says
like
Portland will ring in 2025 with brand new city council. Is that the people that you're
yes,
talking about? So that I can hang
yes.
on. Let's see if I can get this up. Waiting for it to load.
Scary.
It's insane.
Yeah, there is a dwarf on there. Hang on.
I thought so. I'm like, how many
There
boxes
is.
can we check with
And I
12
see somebody.
people?
I don't know if she's hiding her arms or she's just missing arms, but we're gonna figure
There's a
that out.
man without arms. I don't think a female, but who knows? It's just wild. It's just wild. It's like, okay, so we're short on money. Let's triple the size of our council.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's
We're
just
short on
Let me-
limbs.
I gotta.
yeah. So, anyways, you're welcome.
Hang on,
Oh, you
This
found
is
it?
well.
Oh my God.
This is what I came up with. This is like the one of the most recent things. So, is this who you're talking about here? These people?
There is a better picture, but yes, that would be. Gosh, there was one
I
that
see
it was
some
like,
dude. I see
holy
some dude there
cow.
who looks like he's a halfling.
Yes. Okay,
I
that's
see
a half.
that lady there looks like she doesn't have arms. Like she could just be hiding them. Then the guy in the
The
middle
whole
looks like he's doing a
situation.
sermon. You got Wolf Blitzer look-alike over there to his right.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Timu JD Vance is back there.
Oh,
Let's see.
it's just a quiet riot there. I
Yeah,
can't.
it looks like an EBT queen is there too.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Those nicknames, very Trump-esque. I like it.
It's
Oh
true.
my
Like I
gosh,
mean,
but
They're
it's
on the
nuts.
city council. They're probably still collecting EBT.
they probably still
I'm not
collect
even
EBT on
joking.
the city council. I know that's the truth, Scott. It's probably not even a joke.
Oh my
It's so
gosh.
true. Oh
Seriously.
Lord, good. I
Um,
mean, but
yeah.
this is what we got to deal with, right? It's sad because we had some pretty good candidates that were running for city council that came on the show to hang with us and talk, and
Yeah.
obviously, we couldn't help pull them over the finish line. But when you look at the numbers, people are going to continue to just vote for free shit.
I
That's what they
know.
want.
Exactly. I feel your pain. When I had my political show, I had so many people on during the midterms, and I think, like, one out of, like, 20 actually won. I'm like, "This is
Wow.
painful." I have to say, though, my friend Joe Kent, I'm so happy for him. He ran you guys probably know that name, but he's in charge of
Didn't he run for
counterterrorism.
president?
No, but he should someday. Someday he
Joe
very well
Kent?
may.
Sounds so
But
familiar.
well, he was, he's in charge of counterterrorism. You've probably seen him, works with
Hmm.
Hegseth a lot, but
Hmm.
Yes.
he's from my area, and I've, worked with him quite a bit, but he ran, locally twice and then didn't win because it's
Mhm.
very liberal, and then Trump picked him up, which I was very excited about. So even though that wasn't a campaign win, he still won as an individual, so that makes me happy.
That's awesome. I mean, that's awesome. At
Otherwise, I
least
feel
he's
your
with
pain.
the administration. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're just joining us tonight, we have Kristin Sokoloff with us. Okay, KSOC conservative. She's been an awesome conversation with her. She's out of the city of Portland. Well, she lives outside the city of Portland now, but she's got Portland roots.
Oh, yeah.
And we just been having a fantastic convo with her. All her links are in the description, fam. So please, please, please make sure that you go click on that link tree, click on her Instagram. She's got her own podcast and stuff like that. So she does her own thing, and she's very, very in tune with what is going on, not only nationally, but what's going on locally in her state and other states as well. So
Oh, thank
make
you.
sure that you guys are actually following her.
Appreciate the shout out.
Absolutely.
My
Got to plug,
shtick
got
is
to make sure we put
political
a plug.
absurdity, okay, folks? So
Mhm.
I try to find the craziest stuff
Oh,
that's happening in our
what,
country.
so what do you got that you've been reporting on that's been absurd?
Oh my goodness. What did I do today? It's wild because I feel like I have a lobotomy every night because it's just a new news cycle in the morning, right?
It is.
I'm
It's
like,
just a
what did
brand
I
new thing. You can't
even
keep up.
I can't.
Scott was doing a great job of keeping up. He was like posting shit every Sunday. He would post like just every week a list of everything that happened in a week as much as he could. All right, but it just keeps happening more and more and more
I
every freaking
know.
day.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I'll do like ice tackling somebody. I love that kind of stuff. I love tactical stuff and some physical violence. So I post that with a conservative song in the background. Like I love that.
Yeah.
But
The-
some
You had a
badassery.
you had a post that we put that you that I jumped on the collab with about the EBT queen talking about how she's literally starving and she looked like Jabba the Hutt.
Oh
She
my
was like 500
gosh.
pounds. She was like, "Oh, I'm literally starving." I was like, "You don't look like you have been having any issues with being able to eat."
That's the thing. That's one of the things I posted. It was a woman, besides that one, there was a woman who was like, "I'm gonna starve." And she's like, "I've been on food stamps for 30 years. What am I gonna
Yes,
do?" I'm like,
yes.
"What?" So, like, that's the absurdity I'm talking about. Like, so she said not only is she on food stamps, she goes to the food bank. She's been doing it since the 90s, is what she said. I'm like,
Oh
"Are you
God,
proud of
Mhm.
this? Are you proud of it?" Like, you're just saying you
They
have
are. They're all
national
they
proud of
are.
it.
television,
It is.
and then, it's crazy, the local newscasters, like, trying to do, like, this pity party, like, "Oh, she's been doing this since the 90s, what's she gonna do?" It's like, "Get a job!" At this point, it should be Social Security because she's that old, but
It's
that's
it's
Mhm.
it is a
that's the stuff I
generational
look
thing,
for.
and we were actually doing very well. I've talked about this in the 1990s when they brought Clinton to the table, kicking and screaming, and he actually signed welfare reform.
Mm,
Newt Gingrich made that happen. Okay, um, he we were in a good place. Like the rules in place were things like you have like 5 years. We'll give if you qualify for it, you got 5 years to get your shit together. After 5 years, you're gone. Okay. If you were a young parent, okay, a single mother who had a baby at a young age, we'll pay for your schooling and everything. Once you're done with college, essentially, we'll pay you through college. Okay, once you're done with that, you have to get a job and you got to become a productive person in society. There were job requirements again, working requirements and stuff. Obama gets
Mhm.
into place and he sets us back to the 1960s, not only with race relations, but he just gets rid of the work requirements. And then obviously Biden
lovely.
doubled down.
Yeah, sure did. Yeah, it's sick. I
Mhm.
like that. I like the history because it really shows it's like we had things that were working, right? And then that they are intentionally, it just shows more than ever that they are intentionally coming in and destroying things like that to make people dependent on the government for the rest of their lives. And they've been very successful at it.
But it becomes a permanent voting class, right? Like for them, so
Exactly.
they can have permanent power. It's what they wanted to do with the illegal immigration things, right? So like, we covered it a million times on this show about how Biden was like flying these people into, like, just in the darkness of night, nobody even knew
Yeah.
what was going on, flying them into a lot of red states in particular,
Yeah.
okay, just to try to change the voting block, all right, and get a permanent voting caste so they can have permanent power. Fortunately, we fought back against that, and 2024 happened, and now we are where we are right now. But we got to get back to those things, because like that shit still can happen again. Doesn't just because Trump's in office right now doesn't mean that later on down the line some jackass won't try to do it as well.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm looking on here. I was like, I thought somebody called me a bitch, but they were talking about the lady in my Instagram
Oh
post.
no, God, no, none of our people,
I was like,
none
wait,
of our
what? No,
people would
I
do
just
that.
laugh. I don't get, you know what? I just don't get offended by stuff. I'm like, oh, that's
No,
cute.
our people wouldn't. No, our people are good. They wouldn't do
You
that.
have them filtered out. You don't have trolls in here.
We get trolls, but you
Once
see
in a
Yas
while.
13. We get them every now and then. You see Yas 1334.
Yeah, that's what caught me at
Okay.
first. And then I'm like, oh, they're
Yeah.
talking about a
So Yas
video.
1334 is one of our moderators, and
Oh, nice.
he's our resident commie killer. So when they come in, and they come in every now and then, they come in and they get stupid. All right. He gives them a brief education on things, and then he sends them into the phantom zone.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
absolutely
Deports them.
86 them.
I
Yeah.
have to say,
He deports
because
them.
I have a I like that. I have a podcast that's a business leadership podcast because I was a bank director for 20, years and yada, yada, yada. So I'm able to use that part of my world. But anyhow, there are people that don't like my politics that will go on and give us like a 1 star. And it's so wrong that there's no system in place where Apple or Spotify or any of them will allow you to contest it. It's like
Is
they don't
that
like my
for your
politics.
podcast? Is that for your
Yeah.
podcast? Yeah, because I know
Yeah.
you're on Apple, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're
Again,
everywhere, but yeah.
her link is in there, is in the description, fam. You can find her podcast, which is on Apple and Spotify. Yeah, so Jonathan, I'll tell you a quick story about Jonathan. When I first started the channel, before Scott and I got together, we met on a Discord for a gamer. Okay, and like I would post that I was gonna go live, and it was just me and him and I alone, and I would go
Wow.
live, and maybe we had Trump talking about something or whatever, like when him and Tulsi got together and they had that town hall and stuff like that. It was just Jonathan and I. That's it. Okay, and he wasn't even my moderator yet. He would come into the chat and he would talk to me to keep the conversation going, to try to keep the video going and stuff, right? And it was fantastic.
That's
Then
awesome.
Scott jumped in October of last year. What do you call it? I reached out to him and was like, "Hey, can you do a live?" And I was only doing really lives like once in a blue moon, and I would do them on
Yeah.
Sundays. And he came on a Sunday, and then we did a Friday, and then after that, just like history kind of wrote itself. And Jonathan stayed with me,
How
and he mods
cool.
with me. He mods with me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
I love that. It takes a village. It really does. And that's really cool. That loyalty
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love it.
he's our resident commie killer. He absolutely destroys people when they come in. If they
That's
try
the
to come in
best.
and troll, the first thing he does is he warns them. He's like, "Hey, we don't do woke over here, right? So like, if you
Yeah.
come in, and then the minute they start with the woke bullshit or any other like Marxist stuff, he just
Yeah.
obliterates them with some history, and then, like I said, they get jettisoned to the phantom zone."
Oh my goodness. Well, that one post where someone did say bitch, but they were talking about the lady in my thing.
Yeah, that was
So
Rogue
it's
Nina. So
funny.
Rogue Nina is our ride or die. She's been with us
I
from the
love
beginning.
it. Well, it made me think of the fact that, Kevin James from like King of Queens?
Yes.
Okay, he did a 30-day fast. Not even kidding. And so if he can do a
30
30-day fast,
days.
he wasn't even that huge, right? But
It
he did
wasn't
it
that big.
right. And so he survived. He's alive and thriving.
Yeah.
And he did a 30-day fast. So these folks, folks with that much tissue that they need to, I don't even want to say tissue, but
Well,
they could survive. They could do like Adam
I
Carolla said, they could do a fast and be just fine.
Well, I was at the start of last year. I was close to 400 pounds, and I'm down to like 200. I'm down to like 280. So
That's
400? No
amazing.
yeah,
way.
I was close to 400 pounds, bro.
Last
Before
year?
you met me, the beginning of last year, I
Oh
was
my
close to 400
God.
pounds,
So
man.
what'd you do? Did you
Holy
fast,
shit.
I
exercise, or
intermittent fasting because I really
okay?
couldn't exercise yet because I just wasn't there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when I hit a certain point, I started doing some exercise. And now it's moving faster because I got myself back into CrossFit because I used to CrossFit back in the day
Ooh,
when I was in good shape and stuff
nice.
like
Oh
that. But
man.
I still got like 80 pounds to go. My ideal weight is anywhere between 190 and 200 pounds.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, intermittent fasting is huge. And just fasting, I try to do a
Yeah.
36-hour fast. No, excuse me, that 3 days, 72-hour fast every 3 months. And so my
Mm.
husband and I do that together. It's really hard to do it when not everybody in the house is on board,
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
well, I
the
live by
healing
myself, so
properties.
like I can do it and have no problem
Yeah,
whatsoever
that's
doing what I need to
amazing.
do. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
good for
I cook
you.
my own meals now and stuff like that
Yes,
again. Sunday comes around and I make a couple of meals for the week so that it's not the same
that's
thing and it's
great.
not repetitive and I don't get tired
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and whatnot. But I was close to 400 pounds January of 2024,
Well,
and I
congratulations. That's
just
amazing. Talk about a
yeah.
lifestyle change. That's huge.
You know what? It was about the time that I felt like that's when I started my channel. Okay, it was about the time where I felt
Mm,
like I had a calling.
yeah.
Felt like God was telling me it's an important year. We need to freaking get people
Yes.
on board. We need to vote for the right person. You have years of history in your head. You have years of history in your life. Like just like you got to talk to people. So that
Mhm.
was when I started. I made that change for myself too.
Yeah.
At that time, I started this channel. I was just making like long form videos. I would do like 20-minute videos. And so one of my first videos was like how Gen Z is bringing Jesus back. And it was a whole article, like
Very
20-minute
cool.
video about Gen Z
Yeah,
wanting
yeah.
more traditional religions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it just went from there. And
I
then
love
Scott came
that.
on. Like I said, Scott came on in October and we've been nonstop ever since.
That is fantastic. I love the origin story. And I think it's important, to your point. So, like, you found something that you were passionate about, it was driving you, and then things start clicking into place. Like, you're like, okay, I need to get my health in order, right? Like, different things. And I really feel like that's where the disservice comes in when people get free shit all the time. They don't
Sure.
get that fire. And I'm like, okay, so they're being handed things. It's not only the fact that they're just being handed things, but it kills their soul, it kills their spirit. And when you're not, something felt I used to, when I first got my first job, I was like, I was literally sorting hangers for Nordstrom, like sorting hangers in the basement of a Nordstrom. But when I got that first paycheck, it felt so good. And then you move on and you keep working and people tell you you're doing a good job. Like that is what's missing. And these folks that aren't working. And that drives you to want to be better. You get a compliment here and you're like,
Well,
sweet. And then you get a compliment here. And then your chest, your shoulders go back, your chest goes up, and
you,
you
you
just keep going.
you don't get the compliments anymore because of the whole DEI bullshit that's
Yeah.
been going on. It's been
No, like
labeled
the
different
nice work,
things.
not physical,
Yeah,
but
it
nice work,
no
like
no, but
yeah.
it's been labeled different things as time has gone on. But like
Yeah.
we're all of us all old enough to remember when we got a freaking from our manager, hey, you're fucking up. Get it together, okay? And you would get together because like you didn't want to lose your job. They may
Right,
have not said
right.
it that way, but they told you. Well, I had some managers that would be like, "Hey, man, you're fucking up. Let's get it together."
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Because
appreciate that personally.
it's true. I mean, I'm a military guy, so like my whole time, in my youth, in my 20s and everything, I was in the military. Then I went into construction and stuff like that. And there in construction, they'll tell you to fuck off in a heartbeat. It was the same,
Yeah.
you're not getting anybody, nobody's giving you any praise unless you deserve it,
Right, right.
Um, I
Rightfully
miss the
so.
days. I miss the days of being shamed for bullshit.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I'm saying?
know.
Can we get back to shaming people for being an asshole?
Yeah, I know. I don't think I ever stopped. No, I definitely played the game. And that's what, our podcast is the dirty side of leadership. It's actually my
Yep.
co-host. He was a big government head and he retired in 2020 and then wrote a book, The Dirty Side of Leadership, and we just get into it and we expose things but a lot of things that we're calling out is the DEI bullshit and we're calling out how to actually bring humor back into the workplace and within a PC, the parameters that they put in place today, right? Like it's
As respectful as possible without
exactly.
being
You can
like
still
too
have
like
fun.
I get it. Like you can't be like too stupid about things and stuff like that. Unless you're in
Yeah.
again, if you're in construction,
Yeah.
you're in the police department, you're in the fire department or something, that's a whole different you're in the military. the humor is completely and totally different.
Yeah.
You you grow a certain way, and you kind of get like tough skin because you can deal with it. So when someone tells you some shit in like a bullshit job, you're like, yeah, whatever. Like
Yeah.
the dudes that used to rag on me in the freaking military were like, this is like lightweight shit compared to what I used to have to hear and deal with,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yep. No, I'm all about it.
Oh, Jonathan is also Yas 1334. The mod, he says, I still do it. He goes, I've been to HR. I don't know how many times now for calling out DEI bullshit. I'm trying to get a DEI safety associate fired.
Oh my goodness. You
That's great
know,
shit, Jonathan.
yeah, seriously. That's where but you guys aren't gonna believe this, but I used to be on the DEI, like, this is before 2020, so it was a different world, but when I came from New York City banking to Oregon, they were like, "You wanna do, like, a DEI ambassador?" And I was like, "Well, what does that
Gosh.
mean?"
Oh
Right? And
God.
so I was like,
Uh,
yeah, so anyways, I was part of this group that created like, okay, so like Hispanic Heritage Month and Asian Heritage Month and
Yeah.
right? So I was part of all of that and I didn't see anything wrong with that, I'll be honest. Like at that time, I'm talking like 2010 to
Yeah.
2017,
It
18.
was
So it was
different. Again,
different.
it was different.
So then in 2020, I'm like, "Whoa." And so they started talking about toxic masculinity, and I was the first
Uh,
person here. I am still start part of that group, and I was one of the leaders in that group, and I was like, "You know, you guys, I'm gonna resign. I'm done." I resigned when they started talking about toxic masculinity.
we
And,
need more we need
yeah.
more toxic
your husband is
masculinity
a
in the
cop.
world right now. Yeah, yeah. So your husband's a cop,
Yeah,
and
I
they're
know,
talking
this
about
is
fucking toxic
I
masculinity.
know, I'm like, "This isn't gonna work for me." And you know what's funny? The diversity team was primarily white liberal women.
Of course, that is always how it
So
is,
I'm
right?
They're the
like,
downfall of everything.
they had their token, right? But, like, where they're like, "I gotta tap someone." But it was like it was white liberal women, and so I couldn't be part of
Why
it.
is it always white liberal women that are just not only doing this shit, but are just the bane to society?
I
Okay,
know.
they're the absolute worst in society. They complain and Karen about absolutely fucking everything. It is the worst.
I really don't even have an answer. I live in the capital of that too, right? But it's like
Karen country.
yeah, it's really interesting because there's so many great things about the Pacific Northwest, but then the white liberal women, I don't understand it outside of the fact that you start getting indoctrinated very early in the school
Right.
system, and you're
That is
made to
true.
feel guilty about being a white
Correct.
person, and now it's a white woman, right? Like you feel like you can't say this, you can't say that. You're on eggshells, and then you start thinking they play to your emotions. Like I can see through all the bullshit, but a lot of people can't. So then they
It's
start
true.
playing to like, "Oh, this is like, oh, can you believe this happened?" And I mean, I have one of my assistants was a lesbian and I went to Pride with her, on behalf of the bank. It's like it was just a different world. I saw it as supporting her. It didn't mean I endorsed her lifestyle. I saw it as my friend who I was supporting her and standing shoulder to shoulder with her. And so much has changed and now
Yeah.
it's that kindness has been weaponized against
I
us.
I want to say maybe at least for me, I saw things changing around 2015. And that was about the time that the Obama administration was turning the military into a social experiment
Mm,
with I don't remember the exact year. It might have been 2013 when they made Don't Ask, Don't Tell went away.
yeah.
And I can't remember exactly the time frame, but I remember at that time I was like, one of two things are gonna happen. Things might be okay because when we were in the military, we kind of knew who was gay and who wasn't, stuff like that. We didn't give a shit. We didn't care, right? It didn't
Yeah.
make a difference. Or it's now going to be out in the open, okay, and people are going to start disrespecting uniform, which we ended up seeing happening anyway, right? Like it happened in
Right.
droves, everything from Transformers to drag queen hours on Air Force bases, you name it, right? So like
Mm,
the esprit de corps got absolutely destroyed because it started with that, and then it just morphed into other things, into other areas of the military. Um, what do you call it? Bringing the genders together in combat arms has
mm,
caused a huge problem in the military. Okay, now Pete Hegseth is trying to fix that by saying these are the new standards. If you're in combat arms, doesn't make a difference what your gender is, but if you're in combat arms, you have to meet the same standard. Period.
yeah.
Okay. Some women might be able to do it. There are some pretty strong women that can
Yeah,
do it and will
I'm
absolutely
in
make the
full support
standards.
of it.
Okay. But there going to be a lot of them are going to get pushed out
Yeah.
because what happened was, right. And I remember seeing, I don't know. Do you remember when on TV they had the two lesbian chicks that, because they look like lesbians to me. So that's probably what they were. I don't know if they were or not. Okay. They had finished Ranger school and they got their Ranger tabs.
I
Okay.
don't remember.
Like that was a big thing on the news. They had both these two chicks freaking out there talking. All right. What they didn't tell the public was that they recycled them on multiple occasions, okay, in order for them to pass. Right.
Oh my
So
gosh.
if you're a man, okay, and you go to Ranger school to get your Ranger tab, not to be a Ranger like the Ranger bat, okay, like in the infantry, but the Ranger tab is a Ranger school is a leadership school that anybody can go to, especially they in
Oh, I
particular.
dated a ranger for a few years, so
But
but he was an actual
yeah,
ranger.
he was
So
a Ranger. He was probably part of Ranger Bat, which is completely different. Ranger
okay,
Battalion. He was probably with the
okay.
Ranger Battalion,
Or
okay,
was
which
he
is
a park
completely
ranger?
different. Okay, it's
No,
not a park
Hunter
ranger, you
Army
dipshit.
Airfield, Savannah, Georgia.
I'm just asking. There's different types
Please
of rangers.
don't don't mind Scott or a Texas Ranger.
I love
Uh,
it.
Maybe it was a what do you call it? A Canadian Mountie.
Oh,
You
good
never
lord.
know.
I couldn't get past the uniform.
yeah.
Not
So
sexy.
what they didn't tell you is that they recycled them, right? With men, if you go to Ranger school and you fail out, okay, you can't come back until another year. You can't reapply. Right.
Okay.
But what they did with them is they recycled them immediately. Unless
Oh
it's
my
like an
gosh.
injury, sometimes they make an exception
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And they'll send you back to the beginning until you heal up. And then you could, if it's a basic injury, obviously, if it's catastrophic, you're done. All right. But if you actually fail out because you suck donkey dick, okay, you cannot come back. All right, for another year. And that is with a lot of the military schools. They may have changed it
Mhm.
along the way because now we're in 2025, but most schools, in particular leadership schools, jump school, whatever it was, okay, if you failed somewhere along the line, you couldn't come back. You couldn't reapply for a year.
Makes
And that was
sense.
for men, all right? But they kept doing that and they kept recycling until they finally you can recycle somebody enough, they're eventually gonna pass.
Yeah, seriously. Well, I'm huge. I know my husband's always like, watch what you say. I'm not a fan of female police officers unless I'm always like, unless she's like a bold Ike who can handle the same, the same standards that you're dealing with, right? I'm totally fine with a Beth who's, weighs 200 and she's got big biceps. Like, I'm
Beth.
totally cool with that. I don't know why. I had a
Beth.
gay masseuse
I'm gonna
once. Her
use
name
that.
was Beth, and she was like a bold Ike, the best masseuse ever. But
Bold eye.
anyways,
Have not heard that in a long
I
time.
know, it's because my mom says it, so it's recycled. But anyhow, but it's like I really get irritated when, I hear about, he's on a call and the next person that's showing up as his backup or his secondary is a female who weighs 110 pounds, and, it drives, the men crazy, but they can't say anything, God forbid, right? But it just doesn't make sense. If he had, God forbid, he got in an issue where she had to drag him to the side of the road and try to save his life, she couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of female police officers unless they pass the same test the men do, and the fact is they don't. So firefighters
Well,
as well.
because the standards are changed. Think about it, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's
how many
shit.
videos have I'm
It's
sure
what it
you've
is.
seen a ton of videos of like female officers getting the absolute snot kicked out of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
they
My
have no
mom was a
business doing that job unless
my
you
mom
pass the man test.
my mom was a cop in the South Bronx,
Mhm.
okay, from the 80s into the 90s, and she retired in the early 2000s, okay. So it was a total different time. She was
Mhm.
expected, okay, to be a certain way. She had the complete and total respect of all the male police officers in her precinct because she was not afraid to get into the middle of shit, including she had an incident that changed policing across the country, okay, because of what happened to her.
Oh
All right.
wow.
And she fought, she really couldn't fight somebody up, but she almost killed this dude. Okay. She was in the back of an ambulance. All right. And her partner had to drive the RMP. All right. And then the two fucking EMTs slash paramedic, and this was like, I think this was before FDNY took over, and it was EMS was a complete and total different department. They were in the front. Nobody sat in the back with her. And they had an EDP
Mm.
that they took. Okay. He was a frequent
See, I know
flyer,
what
but
that means because my husband
yeah,
was
I know.
NYPD, emotionally
Yeah.
disturbed person. That for those who don't
Yes.
know.
I knew you would understand that, right? I knew you
Yeah,
would understand it.
yeah, yeah.
So this guy was a frequent flyer. okay, that they would take every now and then. And he actually said, I want to go to the hospital because I'm not on my meds, I'm not doing well and stuff like that. So he
Mm-hmm.
volunteered. He volunteered himself. But while they were in the back, my mom was sitting in the back with him, and she tells the story. I can't tell it the way she does. Essentially, she sees him like, he's starting to get the shakes, and he's starting to get the ups
Mm.
and down, the up and
Yeah.
downs and stuff like that. And he's starting to lose his shit. He's not on his meds. So like she's calling on her radio, okay, for her partner to let him know what's going on. They had went over into another precinct's area, okay,
Yeah.
and her partner switched over to the other precinct so he couldn't hear her.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so here she is. She's on her frequency so the rest of the precinct and everybody hear this, okay? All right, but her partner doesn't hear it because he switched over when they went over into the other precinct.
I
All
see.
right. And again, this changed things because of what happened to her. So
Mm-hmm.
now this guy fucking breaks through the restraints, and he's got her. All right, he grabs her and fucking lifts her up to the top of the bus. Okay, and she's got a foot. She left foot dents in the top of the bus. Right? And the only thing she could think of was, I have to grab my gun and pull it so that he can't get it, because if he gets it,
Yeah.
I'm done. Okay, she's like, this guy's gonna beat the shit out of me. There's nothing I could do about it. All right, but again, her partner didn't say, I'm gonna go into the back and stuff like that and be with us. He was like, I'll drive, whatever. And so she
Mm-hmm.
jumped in the back. One of the EMS guys should have been in the back with her. They weren't. All right, so that changed the policy not only in New York City, it ended up
Wow.
being across the country, where somebody, not only a cop, but like somebody from EMS or whatever, has to be in the back. Okay, with these EVPs and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Okay,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and it ends up that they're driving, fucking guys in the front are playing music and stuff like that. They
Oh my
get pulled over
gosh.
by like 6, 7 cops. Cars fucking pulled them over because she's screaming 1013, 1013 on the fucking radio. Okay,
Oh
so
my
that
gosh.
everybody can hear. So everybody from her precinct is responding to another precinct to stop this bus. Okay,
Wow. That's
and the only thing
insane.
she can do, was make sure that this guy didn't get her gun. And she says it.
Mm.
She's like, this guy would have killed me. She
Yeah.
was like, for whatever reason, he didn't throw me around. He just like, he kept throwing me up, but I kept putting my feet up on the top of the bus to
Yeah.
protect myself from getting slammed into it. Okay,
Wow.
but like he could have thrown me around, and did whatever. And the only thing I think of is that if I get a moment, I'm gonna have to kill this guy.
Yeah. Oh
But
my
for the
goodness.
moment, I have to. What she did is she pulled her gun and flipped the holster up so that he couldn't grab it,
I see. Smart.
because he was actually trying to grab it and stuff like that. And it ended up changing policy in NYPD and everything because of that
Good.
incident, and
Wow.
probably across the nation because of that and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Changed a whole bunch
See,
of shit.
it sounds like she can handle her own, or she could when she was on
But
duty.
she admitted, though, she was like, this guy probably could have killed me. How I didn't die
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
situation. She was like, this guy was so messed up that not only he probably would have killed a dude, but he
Yeah.
definitely should have killed me. She was like, God was with me that
Wow.
day and I didn't die, but I
Definitely.
probably should have died that day.
Yeah.
And she
That's
was like,
scary.
after that day, they wouldn't let her get inside of a bus ever again. And it's like, it's not that I was afraid, but they just knew that it should have been a man back there.
Yeah.
And one of the EMS guys who was a man, she's like, they were big dudes too. One of them should have been in the
Mm-hmm.
back with me too,
Yeah,
to help me.
absolutely. Well, I'm glad. Unfortunately, a lot of policy changes come from events like that. Thankfully, she survived that. But yeah, that's some scary stuff. Um, well, I know we're
It's nuts.
coming to a wrap here soon, or
Yeah,
at
we got
least I am.
about
I'm surprised I have
18
a
minutes.
voice left. My voice has handled itself really well, actually. I
I
woke
know
up
you
with
were
a super
worried.
sore throat. I know. I thought
You
I was gonna
you
sound.
still sound like a woman.
I thought I was gonna sound like a
Yep.
trans, like after like half an hour into this. Just
Nah,
a
you
little
don't
rough
sound
on
like
the
a
right-
people.
transformer. You good?
You'd fit right into Portland.
I
Yeah.
know, right? It's crazy. It's not unusual to see a dude. They're not even like really trying to look like women anymore these days. It's just like the full on beard. It's like a dude, but with fake boobs.
Right.
Like not even real fake boobs, like actual, like
Yeah.
just like
It's just
silicone bras or something.
yeah.
It's so weird. I'm like, what's the goal
It's
here?
just nuts. I
Yeah.
tell people there's no such thing as chicks with dicks. It's only dudes with boobs. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just no such thing.
Seriously. And the other thing we see here as well as we see them wearing that the Antifa scarf, like Antifa people are wearing that scarf, the oh my goodness.
Oh, that the Muslim shit.
Muslim shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So we see them wearing
I'm
those
drawing a blank. I
I
used
know
to know
it's
what
a
that was.
kaffa. It's called a kaffa.
There you go.
And it has, yeah, so it resembles like the sea. But anyhow, half of them don't even know, I'm sure, what it
Yeah, they
means. But
don't.
we
They
see
don't know
that
what it means.
here, and they're wanting you to say something, but I just like kind of like
Sure.
Just give them a
Still looking for a fight.
smile.
They're looking for
Yeah,
a
and
fight. They
I
want to
don't
get
do
into it.
that. That would be my suggestion for I see a lot of conservatives, especially if you live in an area like, oh, wait, what is that? I'm sorry. I saw that someone tagged me. They're calling AKA moobs. That's hilarious. Okay. Anyway, sorry. ADHD, I bounce around sometimes. I'm like, wait, what am I? But yeah, I don't even know what I was saying. But that's amazing. Wait, is that a real thing?
Yeah, no, yeah. Gynecomastia is definitely a real thing.
Gynecomastia. So all they do is change the boobs. Like that's it. Like
Yeah,
they don't.
but that's like dudes that are actually like, the estrogen and shit like that. But like these motherfuckers they either put fake tits in or they, what do you call it? They wear those stupid things like you were saying.
Yeah, that's what I see a lot here. It's just like literally they're buying like a bra with like
Yeah.
silicone boobs in there. And I'm
Well,
like,
you can go to Target and get these things. They got
oh
things
my
to make you
gosh.
tuck and all. Well, I don't know if Target is still doing that because they
I
caught a lot
think
of
they
shit.
backed off because they lost a
Yeah,
lot of money. Nordstrom, though, I exposed
Oh, they
that
did.
not too long ago. Nordstrom had tucking underwear.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's like seriously. And
yeah. No,
the
it's
the
true.
model they put on there is frightening. It's a woman who's had her boobs cut off. You can see the
Yeah,
lines and everything. And
man,
yeah.
that's a whole other talk show. We've been trying to get somebody for a while now who is detransitioned to tell their
That
horror
would
story.
be incredible. That would be
Yeah.
powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, because like these are stories again. This is a population of people who have decided that they understand. Unfortunately, after doing catastrophic damage to their bodies, that it was the
So
wrong thing
sad.
to do. That God created them perfectly in the first place. That they don't have to worry. All right,
Yeah.
and and their whole community that had them when they did all of this stuff. Now they abandon them almost immediately. Like the minute they start
Mm,
detransitioning, they abandon them,
you're
and
right.
there's no
Hmm.
medical or psychological things for them right now either. Like who's supporting these poor
Yeah,
kids?
I
Most of them are
know.
kids,
Yep.
okay, that have
It's so
gone through this.
sad.
Who's supporting them?
I know. It really is sad. I know. And we see that a lot here. It's kind of like it's cool to have a kid that's not just normal. They're either an it or they're gay or I'm talking at young ages.
It's
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 abusive.
it is these freaking liberal white women again and their cuckold husbands, if there isn't even a husband in their
Yeah.
freaking in the picture, okay, that just like let the shit happen. All right. And then you
Mhm.
got guys like Adam Vina in California who are fighting tooth and nail to try to protect his son and getting all kinds of pushback and stuff like that,
Yeah.
from the state. And absolutely they're obliterating the poor man. Okay. And he's
Mm.
fighting desperately
Yeah.
to save his kid
I've seen that
because his
online.
freaking crazy ass. We had him on the show and he broke down talking to us. All right. And
Yeah.
it's just like a grown man breaking down because of what's happening to his son. And there's nothing he can do to protect him, no matter how much he tries, because the state, okay, has stepped in and has used every measure, okay, to make sure that
Mm.
he can't protect his kid.
That's
And
scary.
it's incredibly sad and scary.
It is, it is. I haven't mentioned this at all. We started homeschooling in 2021.
Excellent.
So, yeah,
It's
it
been
was one of
time.
those it was one of those things where I was like, I never wanted to be like we made fun of homeschoolers growing up. I mean,
Everybody
So
did.
it was
Hmm.
like, come on. And then but I was like, I can't even though it was elementary school and it wasn't radicalized yet. I saw with the masks and, the social distancing, I just saw the writing on the wall. And
Right.
and so we pulled them. We do classical conversations for anyone listening who's like wanting to homeschool but doesn't want to do it like totally on their own. And that's the one that Pete Hegseth has spoke very positively about. The founders were on with Sean Ryan within the last few months. So it's a really cool. It's just classic education, but once a week you're on campus and you're all together, and there's like 50 plus kids, but everyone has their own classroom depending on age.
It's
I
pretty dope
teach the
though.
freshmen. So
Really?
yeah, yeah. So I teach them. So it's like Latin, and then you're doing American history. That's what we're doing
Oh,
this year, and then we're doing physical
nobody does Latin
science. And
anymore.
I
Latin is a
know, I
lost
know.
language.
It really is, but it's been really cool. It's been humbling for me. It's a second
That
education.
is awesome, Kristen. I didn't even know that
Yeah.
about you. That is freaking
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so
I'm
that's
gonna
what I'm
tell
doing.
everybody.
It's a pretty cool, program, and I did it 1 year without a program, like, I went and bought books, right? Like, I bought a whole
Right.
system, but I didn't have, like, that community connection. And I was like, I think we were looking into private school. It's super expensive, right? So this was the perfect way to homeschool, but
That's
you're
awesome.
homeschooling with a group. Yeah, it's awesome.
So how many times is that, a week or monthly?
Once a week,
Okay.
you're on campus, and this is international. These programs, there were in other countries. It's pretty wild, because it's so popular to get them out of government school, right? But yeah, it's once a week, and if anyone's interested in looking at that, they're in almost every zip code. So it's classical
Oh,
conversations, and it's just a classic education, which is quickly becoming the most popular form of schooling.
yeah. And how does the state treat that? Curious, being in the
Well, you
state
don't
that
get
you're in.
any funding. Yeah, so
Correct.
yeah, so
But what
I
are the
mean,
restrictions?
some
Because they're gonna restrict shit.
yeah, all you have to do, at least in the state of Oregon, and
Mhm.
which some may be amazed about this, but you just have to do state testing every other year.
Okay.
And then we do it remote. So it's remote state testing. They're doing it from the dining room table, and that satisfies the state.
A
Good.
product of No Child Left Behind.
Yeah.
That's another talk show right there. Ted
Oh
Scott, you were
yeah.
gonna say something, brother.
What was I?
Yep, you started saying something.
No, I was just gonna say that now that I know that she's teaching her kids Latin, I'm gonna tell everybody,
Yep, yep.
It is
She's the
just in
pretty
go.
case
cool.
nobody knew.
It's
It's
just
not
amazing that
easy. It's not easy, I'll tell you that.
yeah, I can only imagine. I speak broken like Spanglish, so like I can only imagine what Latin is like.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
that's just
Humbling is the
incredible.
perfect word, because it's
That's
just I
incredible.
was never a scholar. People think I did really well in school. No, barely graduated. Like, I just was there to socialize and have fun, do gymnastics, like, that was my life. But this truly is a second education for me, and I'm actually, like, cued in and taking it seriously. But
Did you
it's
have Latin
extremely
before, or did
humbling.
you have to actually
No,
learn it to teach it?
had to learn it to teach it.
That's
But
amazing.
that's the
That's
best way to
absolutely
learn
amazing.
is to teach.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah,
absolutely is.
yeah.
The most I had with teaching was coaching. I coached football and track and field, and that was an amazing thing to do. It was fantastic. I got to coach
It's awesome.
my younger brother his senior year of high school in track and field, so it was pretty awesome.
That is very cool. Very
I
cool.
got to watch him crush every single freaking time splits and stuff that I had on relays and open races and everything. It was awesome. It was great to see.
He'll always remember that too, and so will
Yeah,
you. That's the beauty of it.
yeah. He definitely has way more medals than I do,
Hey, you played a
which
role in
is
that.
awesome.
It's really cool.
Well, we're getting ready to wrap it up, fam. If you were just watching, if you just tuned in, we've had Kristin Sokoloff with us tonight. Man, it has been a fantastic conversation. We've learned a lot from her. She even said she learned some stuff from us, which is
Yep.
awesome. We will absolutely have you back, Kristin,
Thank
whenever you
you.
want.
I'd love
You
to.
have an open invitation to come hang with us anytime you want. If you got
Excellent.
something you got something you want to spread, something you want to make sure that because obviously the news doesn't cover everything. We know that.
Yeah.
You think it's not being, and you want to bring it on, bring it to us. We will absolutely have you back on.
Excellent. Well, it would be my pleasure. Thank you so much.
So go ahead and plug yourself. You got some time.
That I'm the worst at plugging myself. I am. I used to have when I had my own show, my guests would be like, you in the comments, they'd be like, you can find her at. I'm like, it's so uncomfortable for me. But I have to get over that, right? I've been doing this 5 years now. You would think it would be just
Yeah,
second nature.
you gotta be able to plug
I
yourself,
know,
Kristen.
I know, I know. Yeah, no, it would be great if you
Just
guys
to
would find
help
me.
you,
Yeah, yeah, do
we do have all your stuff, all your
Awesome.
links in the description.
Okay, cool. That's cool. I was trying to follow along with the comments. Looks like someone went and followed me on X, so that's awesome. X, I'll have to say I'm trying to get a little more into it. I do post there pretty much just to
That,
create my little caption
yeah,
to put on
that
Instagram.
was base Blondie. She actually
Okay, cool.
she hosts with me every other Wednesday. She was on this
Oh,
past
cool.
Wednesday. Yeah, she hosts with me every other Wednesday. When we're not doing Break the Machine on a Wednesday, I do what's called Warrior Wednesday, and we talk about some veteran stuff and stuff like
Love
that.
it.
And then I have a show on Saturday called the Salty Dog Show and
Oh,
whatnot. But that's
cool.
just
You do a
strictly
lot of
on
stuff.
Rumble.
Okay, I
That's
love
only
it.
on
I love
Rumble though.
it.
That's only on Rumble. But Blondie, she had mentioned she wanted to do a show with you
Yeah, yeah. All right, cool. Sounds like
and
she's
Petty
following me on
Crocker.
X, so we can hook it up there. But yeah, so I'm on X, I'm on Instagram, as you have my handle up here, KSOC Conservative. I am the most active on Instagram. Facebook, just, everything from Instagram carries over to Facebook. If you guys want to listen to a podcast about leadership that is entertaining, we call it Where Leadership Meets Entertainment. That is, our podcast is the dirty side of leadership. You can find it anywhere you get your podcasts, free, of course. And that would be amazing if you could listen to us there and let me know what you think.
Well, fam, make sure that you guys are clicking on the links. Make sure that you go and you follow her and whatnot. She just has great stuff. Yeah, definitely. Blondie, unfortunately, got banned from Instagram.
Oof.
She got doxxed. She
Oh,
was trying to actually protect people on Instagram. It's a whole to do.
yeah.
And of course, Instagram went after her instead of the people that they should have went. So the
Oh, yeah.
guy was doxing ICE agents. He was doxing Texas state representatives and whatnot, telling his viewers to go shoot up the Texas freaking what do you call it, House of Representatives and whatnot.
Wow.
He's actually getting ready to do a 20-year bid because of doxing the ICE agent, and he's now in the state
Whoa.
of Texas because of that. So like they they extradited him to Texas to face Texas justice as well for
That's
calling for
and
the
she
murder of
loses her account for
and
doing that.
she lost
That's
her
so
account and
messed up.
everything.
It's like the whole thing with Roblox. I have an 11-year-old son, loves Roblox. My daughter does too. And it was like
Yep.
where that one kid was out hunting perverts and then tipping them off, right? And then
Yeah,
he gets sent a cease and desist, and they're still on there probably grooming kids. It's sick.
yeah, yeah. Roblox is
Um,
scary.
Everyone's telling Scott to go to bed.
well, they're getting sued now. Now, it was 2 weeks ago, Florida sued them, and now
Yes,
this week, yesterday, I think it was Texas. Now the state of Texas is suing them.
they're
Mm,
gonna get sued into
good.
oblivion.
Good.
Good.
That's what
Yeah, I mean, if
happens.
they're not protecting kids, then they need to get the
Mhm.
Yeah,
hammer,
exactly.
you know,
Amen.
because it's mainly kids that are on there
Yeah.
looking for games and stuff like that. And if predators
Yeah.
can, again, we talk about saving the children on this channel too. We
Mhm.
have Antoinette who's in the chat, stuff like that.
Yes.
She's been on the show.
Awesome.
She was a teacher that was
Mm.
retaliated against for reporting against reporting. She's a mandated reporter as a teacher reporting
Right, right.
abuse. They went
Mhm.
after her. Chelsea Boyle, who, like I said, I don't know. I don't think she's gonna be at Amfest this year, but she's been the last couple of years. It started with her. She's been on the channel. They went after her daughter for
Oh my gosh.
making a picture called All Lives Matter back at the time when BLM was doing their
Wow.
thing, and
Yeah.
then it spiraled
Yep.
into a whole big thing. They went after her son as well. So we've had some teachers on
Wow.
here who have been retaliated against
It's
and
horrible.
stuff as well.
Absolutely
So it's
horrible.
just a terrible thing.
It
But
really is. It really is. I just tell people I just wanna say one thing. I think it's important for parents to hear, like, I don't bubble wrap my kids. So for instance, yes, we homeschool, so in a sense, I'm protecting them from indoctrination, but when it comes to I'm not gonna cut them off of Roblox. What I do is I just make sure that I teach them how to discern, right? Be discerning.
right,
And so it's like, I'll tell my son, "Oh," he'll tell me, "Mom, some guy's trying to give me free Roblox." I'm like, "Yeah, he wants you to send him a picture of your butthole probably." You know what I mean? So
God,
I'm,
Yeah.
like, very straightforward with my kids. I'm not bubble wrapping them. You can play the
you
game
can't.
and you can play an hour a day. Okay, that's cool. But if someone says this, it's probably because they're a pervert, right? Or like, don't ever,
Mhm.
so it's just like
Yeah,
set parameters, parent. Don't just cut them off completely.
yeah.
Teach them to discern and question.
I told my son that when he was younger, I mean, he's a grown man with his own family now. When he was younger, that there were real life monsters in this world, and I explained to him what I meant by that,
Mm,
and I did that at an early age so that he could
yes,
understand.
yes.
Rogue Nina wanted me to tell you that you used to follow one and only Blondie on Instagram. She's based Blondie on X. She just followed you.
Okay. Okay, cool.
She posted that or a little bit earlier that she followed
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
She
Perfect.
can actually use all the help that she can get.
Yeah.
Again, because she's been banned, and the only thing she has going is X right now. So any
Okay.
help you
Okay.
can do to help her,
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm all
she's
about it.
she's a nurse and she has a lot of
So cool.
information. She ended up losing her job because of COVID. She refused to take the vaccine and
Yeah,
whatnot, and so that's a whole thing.
good
But
for her.
anyway,
Okay,
Kristen,
cool. My people for
you've been
sure.
absolutely phenomenal tonight. Great
Thank
time.
you.
Absolute great
Good.
conversation. We gotta have you back. Again, please come back and hang with us. We would
I would
absolutely
love
enjoy this
it.
conversation.
I miss my
Um,
political show. It's been a few years, and so it's fun to get on here and
Mhm.
talk shop.
yeah, absolutely. It's great. We had a great conversation tonight.
Yes,
Um,
definitely. Thank you so
so
much.
fam, make sure that you are following her. Make sure that you are, Just all her links are in the description, fam. So just make sure that you are in tune with where she's at so that you could find her.
Awesome. Thank you
Kristin
both.
Sokoloff,
I really
thank you, hon,
appreciate
for
you.
hanging with us. Really appreciate you. Great night. You have
Yes.
a great night, great weekend, and God bless, hon.
You as well. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
All right. Well, fam, that was Kristin Sokoloff. Absolute fantastic night. Great conversation with her. It was just absolutely great to have her on the show. She's just a fantastic person to talk to. So we will absolutely have to bring her back. Scott, what do you got, brother?
Nothing really much. Just you can find me on Instagram, red_daywalker 2.0. And I hope everybody has a good weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are going to be heading over to Bourbon and Beer like we do on all Fridays and stuff like that. Guys, make sure you're following the Discord. Make sure that you're voting on the Discord because we have movie night next Saturday. It is comedies. Scott, you hanging with us next Saturday for the comedies? You don't know? Can't hear you. Can't hear you, bro.
Hello?
Oh, there you
Can you
go.
hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Can hear you
I
now, man.
said probably not next Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, no, we're winding down with holidays and shit like that, so we get it.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, so remember, fam, next Saturday night we have Monday, we got Bonita Falls, right? Yeah, we got Bonita Falls. Then next Wednesday will be Warrior Wednesday. Next Friday, we have Gratefully Awake with Tori. Victoria's coming to hang with us. She's been in the chat on more than one occasion talking to us and whatnot. She's actually going to be with us next Friday. And then we have next Friday's the 14th, right? And then the 17th, I think we're open again. We have to fill that slot because Peyton Jackson has been moved to December. She had some campaign stuff that she has to take care of, so she had to reschedule with us. So we're trying to find out who we can bring in on the 17th. But then on the what's that? The 17th, the 21st. Who do we have on the 21st, man? Oh, the Mexican Velma we have on the 21st.
Yeah.
And then the 24th will be an absolute fantastic show too. We got Petty Crocker, who you guys all love, is coming back. We got Star Spangled Kyle is coming to hang with us for the first time. And the same thing with Claire Patriot. Is coming to chill with us. That should be a pretty funny show, actually. I'm pretty sure that's going to be pretty
Should be good.
hysterical. So make sure you guys continue to tune in, fam. And again, like I said, this Saturday, tomorrow, Salty Dog, we are going to be headed to Bourbon and Beer. I'm going to set that up right now. I got that going. We're going to confirm the raid shortly. Once again, thanks for everybody for tuning in tonight. You guys are freaking awesome. It's been a great night, as always. The poll ended. All right, so the movie we're watching is Idiocracy. I don't know if I've even seen that. It's a comedy. I guess I'm going to be seeing it now. So, well, fam, I'm the Big Red One Guy signing out. And remember that together and only together can we break the machine. God bless you all. God bless America. Have a great night. I will see you all tomorrow night, 6 p.m. And once again on Monday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, fam. Have a good night.